Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet, and I hope you're having a fantastic little day. It's weird. Okay, yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today we are going to have an amazing show where we want to go through a lot of amazing stuff that people amazingly don't seem to understand and don't seem to be aware of. First off, hey, David, what's up?
Yo. Hey, what's up?
Yeah, good. I just want to be polite here and say hello to you before we start.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good manners. You're becoming a true American now.
Absolutely. So I was a little bit shocked. I don't know. I don't even know if I was actually shocked. I wasn't even very much surprised. Maybe a little bit. But Tucker Carlson had an interview with Andrew Tate, and it was
a powerful interview.
It was advertised as this great, fantastic interview. Lots of people watched it. A lot of people from Tucker Carlson's actual fan base watched it, and a lot of them agree that it is an amazing interview. A lot of people have said stuff like, I had no idea about Andrew Tate before, or I didn't like Andrew Tate before, but after seeing this, he strikes me as a very good guy, and I believe him, and so on. So through that interview, a lot of people were manipulated. A lot of people's minds were changed from bad to good about Andrew Tate, and so on. And it is just absolutely disgusting to me, because you start listening to the interview and you hear lie after lie after lie after lie from Andrew Tate. And even in the monologue that Tucker Carlson starts with, he repeats some of the lies that Andrew Tate gives, and then appeals to people's emotions to kind of draw this picture of this hero that Andrew Tate is, who is being, hunted by this cabal of powerful people who actually do terrible things themselves. So he's basically, in other words, accusing the Matrix of just going after him.
All because he's telling young men to be strong.
Oh yeah, because of that. Because they don't like his message.
That's it. If you tell young men to be strong, they're going to accuse you of rape and human trafficking, and it's only a matter of time.
It could happen to any of us, guys. If you are a man, and if you just tell people, hey, you know what, work out, be strong, do this, do that, they might at any time accuse you of organizing a criminal organization and engaging in human trafficking. Yeah.
Let's go and try it.
Yeah.
Young men, be strong.
Wow.
Wait a minute. Is that the door? Oh no, it's the FBI coming to get me. They're coming to get me, AP. They're accusing me of human trafficking.
It's over for you. So how easy could it be to accuse somebody actually of human trafficking? How easy could it be for a prosecution, such as, in this case, the highest authority within a nation in tracking down human trafficking and organized crime, to put together a case, an investigation, and insist that you have committed the crime of human trafficking? How easy could it possibly be? It can't be that easy. And when you listen to the interview that Andrew Tate and Tucker Carlson had, you see there already that he is misconstruing the whole thing off of the very start. He says that he's only being accused of recruiting girls to record TikTok videos and then stealing their money,
Stealing
which
their TikTok money.
is completely false.
Have you read or even heard that from the actual authorities? Because what I've gathered from the actual court reports and from the news and even from Tate's videos back in the day where he was explaining his method, he's making his money from the porn on OnlyFans. The TikTok videos were basically commercials. So you have your girl making TikTok videos and, oh, by the way, check out my OnlyFans. So they're the commercials. So you get all these kids watching TikTok coming over to your OnlyFans. But then he makes it look like everything is distorted. Everything he says is a distortion based on some little detail where, notice, if you haven't really read stuff, you've only kind of heard second or third or fourth hand what Andrew Tate's accused of, and you hear something about TikTok and you hear something about his criminal enterprise and the lover boy method and all this stuff, and you don't really know. So then when he comes on there and says, what I've actually charged with is getting girls to do TikTok videos and taking their money, but I don't even make any money from TikTok. And you go, oh, what? That's it? Oh my goodness, that's so stupid. You would think that an actual journalist is going to push just a little bit and say, is that really all you're being accused of? Because, oh, hey, I got the reports right here. It actually says you're charged with a ton of counts of human trafficking, and the TikTok was to get girls on your OnlyFans stuff so you can make piles and piles of money, which happens to line up perfectly with these video clips of you saying that's exactly your method. Here's from 2 years ago. Click. That's what a journalist, I mean, even if you don't want to be like, you could do all of that nicely and say, so how would you explain this video of you saying that your method is exactly what you're being accused of in the court documents? And how do you also explain why the court documents, which accuse you of all these things, is very different from what you're saying that you're accused of? So why is nothing you're saying lining up with anything you've said in the past or anything the courts are saying? Why is that? And of course, the correct answer is because Tate understands he's got a bunch of moron fans who will mindlessly agree with anything he says. And so he's just been programmed. I can lie all I want. My fans will go along with it.
Yep.
So
I want to go into that. That's, by the way, one sign where you can this is that whole TikTok lie, that whole TikTok narrative is one that was entirely made up by Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, and maybe I don't know, some people who work with him together. They spread that stuff on Twitter. They said, "Oh, this is what we're being accused of." So whenever I see somebody on Twitter or somewhere else say, "Oh, they're just being accused of making TikTok videos and stealing the money," it is immediately clear that the person you are talking to has not actually read anything, is only listening to Andrew Tate and only believing him while accusing you of not doing your research, which is very funny, because I will now actually go into the indictment file, which we have here, which is accessible, which you can even request. You can send an email to the to the Romanian court in question, and you can ask for a copy of it. They have the same right of, what's it called? The law,
Freedom of Information Act.
Freedom of Information, yeah. So under that law, you are allowed to request and you are supposed to receive such documents. But let's go into that. I don't know what I'm having trouble.
But by the way, as you're pulling that up, you know what's insane here? A lot of Tate's fans were following him a few years ago.
Yeah.
So they know exactly. Like I understand someone coming along, hearing about Andrew Tate, having no clue what's going on, and then you hear from a bunch of Andrew Tate fans, all he's accused of is stealing girls' TikTok money, and you think, well, that is ridiculous. Maybe there is a conspiracy against him. But for his fans, his loyal base, who've been following for him a couple of years, they remember him saying all this stuff. Of course, you remember him saying all this stuff, and so when he says some completely new thing that completely contradicts everything he was saying 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And you go along with it. That's right. That's all he's accused of, stealing TikTok, buddy. It's like what you're telling me is you don't care. You do not care. You know he's lying and you just don't care. Maybe you even like it. Maybe you even like the idea of him punishing these women after turning them into porn actresses.
Yeah, one of the main problems is that people don't even understand what human trafficking really is, and they don't understand that the things that he said for a long time are actually crimes. And when we say that he's being investigated for human trafficking, lots of them say, "Well, there is no proof that he actually kidnapped anybody, and nobody said that he kidnapped
Not
people and
required.
transferred them." That is not required, and we will get to that. I will explain in detail what the human trafficking in question is, and I think it will be a big eye opener when we go into that. But here is the file translated by somebody who was working on this whole issue as well behind the screen. Here is the file offered by the prosecution to the Romanian court, approved by the Romanian court due to everything being orderly, the sufficiency of evidence, and so on. Here is the indictment file. On this indictment file, you can see a lot of the crimes, and I will come to those, including, you can see here, recruiting by deception, transporting them, sexually exploiting, forcing them to engage in pornographic activities, and so on. What I want to quickly get to here is the charges, because so many people seem to have a problem identifying the charges, because Andrew Tate himself denies that he has been charged with proper crimes. I can scroll. Okay, so here are the charges. We decree, referring to trial under house arrest of the defendant Andrew Tate. Jeez, I'm sorry. Andrew Tate, forming an organized criminal group. 1. As provided by Article 367 and so on. Human trafficking in a continued form.
That's
This is charge number 2.
That's the more serious one. That means it's ongoing. It's not like some one-off thing. You lured a girl to something and then trafficked her, and so this is you're continuing. It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah, and here charge number 3 is rape.
2 acts.
Rape.
That's in a continued form because there were multiple acts on the same girl.
So 3 charges for Andrew Tate, as you can clearly see here on the document. This is not something that somebody, made up or anything. This is not something that somebody, photoshopped together. This is directly from the Romanian court in question. And you can see on here for Andrew Tate, there are 3 charges: forming an organized criminal group, human trafficking, and rape. Human trafficking in continued form and rape in continued form. These are the 3 charges that are brought against Andrew Tate in this investigation and the upcoming trial. So when he goes on Tucker Carlson and says that he hasn't been charged with sex crimes and he hasn't been charged with rape or anything, and that this just seems to be like a financial issue, he is entirely lying.
And notice, with respect to the human trafficking and rape, it's multiple counts, right? So in other words, it's not just he's being accused of human trafficking for one victim. As you go through the charges, it's multiple people. It's multiple people that he's accused of. So it's multiple separate crimes. He could be found not guilty on one. He could be found guilty on others. It's multiple instances of these crimes.
Yeah. So this is what you see. So if anybody sees this and still goes and says, they haven't even been charged with anything, then I don't know what's wrong with you. But please be informed. These are the actual charges. It goes on to Tristan Tate. Tristan Tate is charged with forming an organized criminal group, human trafficking in a continued form, and instigation to assault or other acts of violence. Reported. So he doesn't have an official rape charge here. He has assault and violence charges, which is very ironic because he said many times in the past, there are even old tweets of him where he says that he is an unnecessarily violent person.
Yeah. So the instigation to assault would be him telling one of the girls who are in charge of keeping the other girls in line, hey, she's not meeting her quota, go rough her up.
Yeah.
And the and one of the girls, whoever it's Georgiana or Luana or whoever, then going out and beating a girl or doing something to her in order to get her to meet her quota, but it's because Tristan told her to. So that's the accusation.
Yeah, and here we have these are 4 people aside from Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, 2 of their employees who are the overseers or the bottom bitches who do the work for them and who basically beat the girls and trick them into doing these things. They are Georgiana and what's the other one?
Luana or
Luana,
Luana, something like that.
Georgiana and Luana, they are also under investigation and they're also being charged now. So it's in total 4 people. Georgiana is being charged with forming an organized criminal group, human trafficking in a continued form, unauthorized access to a computer system, which means access to the phones or otherwise things that the employees, the girls, have.
Yeah, so I don't know what that's specifically what's that referring to. Like if they're going and erasing messages on a girl's phone to hide them, or if they're sending fake messages from a girl's phone. Like, so in other words, if you beat a girl and then you tweet out, "Oh, I like getting beaten," or something like that from her phone, then what she said she likes. But so I have no idea what they did with their phones or whatever.
So the investigation, clearly the prosecution says, and they have heaps of evidence for this, that that Georgiana and Luana were, especially her, I guess, were repeatedly taking their phones, logging into their accounts, using their stuff, and publishing things on their behalf. So they record things, and these 2 publish it and act like they are doing it. And are there's also one instance where, as a punishment to one of those girls, as a punishment, she sends to close contacts of this girl a bunch of pornographic stuff from her to basically shame and humiliate her, and to say, if you don't do your work properly again, then we will do something even worse. See, now your parents and your loved ones, they all have this footage of you. And so that is part of what they're being charged for, and you can see the details of that. Alteration of the integrity of computer data, that is again concerning evidence, concerning impersonating the person whose phone they're using and doing things in their name. Then assault or other acts of violence, and we have some real evidence of this as well. That we have Georgiana and Luana themselves in the transcripts threatening violence several times.
Yeah, threatening to saying you're going off the balcony when Andrew gets there or something like that, and saying I'll kill you and this and that if you don't get your video out and so on.
And finally, the 4th person in question, Luana, is mentioned, is charged with forming an organized criminal group and human trafficking in a continued form. These are the charges brought against these people. So when Andrew Tate now says that there are no proper charges, that he's not charged with rape, that there is no real human trafficking going on, that it's all just about making TikTok videos and so on, that is a complete lie. When we now come to the TikTok videos, actually,
by the way, I also saw, I think it was in his previous interview, the previous big interview with gosh, I don't remember his name. Anyway, those 2 guys were interviewing him, and Andrew Tate says all the OnlyFans stuff was like 10 years ago. It's like, what are you taught? You were still like advertising for this stuff just like 2 and 3 years ago. Why are you? And no one will call him. No one will call him on it. No one will call him on. I don't know.
We have the evidence here. Look, in one instance, you have this file here where a lot of the stuff that they did is explicitly described and listed, and you can see here, for example, in the period something redacted 2021 to 2022. They were engaging in these activities.
And by the way, I think why they do that is if they're still trying to give the victims some cover until the actual trials and stuff like that. Like if you gave specific details, then even Tate himself would be like, "Oh, I know who that is. I'm gonna go get her."
Yeah. There are currently seven victims. That is another issue that is another thing that Andrew Tate lies about. He says nobody came forth. It's just the prosecution, naming victims and so on. There are currently 7 victims involved in this case. 7 victims are involved, and not just by the prosecution saying, "Oh, these girls are victims, and we will go off that." No, these victims communicate their victimhood. Plus, the prosecution obtains again heaps of evidence from transcripts where these idiots were messaging each other all the crimes that they committed in relation to these victims. But here you have one of the cases, one of the crimes that has been committed. It says the actions of the defendant Andrew Tate consist of the following. At the beginning of 2021 on the territory of Romania, together with the defendant Tristan Tate, the defendants Luana Radu and Georgiana Nagel, they formed an organized criminal group with the purpose of committing on the territory of Romania and other states such as the USA and the UK, primarily the crime of human trafficking through actions of recruiting victims carried out by the defendants Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, and subsequently under their coordination through actions of sheltering and transporting the victims carried out by involving the defendants Luana Radu and Georgiana Nagel, with the aim of obtaining significant sums of money by forcing the victims to engage in pornographic activities for the production and distribution of pornographic materials using the website OnlyFans. You see, OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. That's, but no, it's TikTok.
Yeah.
But look, see, and subjecting them to forced labor using TikTok.
Yeah.
See, so it's the point of the TikTok is to get people to OnlyFans, right? To catch new people who are just watching scrolling through TikTok videos. Because keep in mind, most people aren't scrolling through OnlyFans. You have, I don't know how many hundreds of millions scrolling through TikTok. So you're trying to get people's attention on TikTok, then send them to OnlyFans. We got a weird comment right here. So Cruz Eater says, by the way, those are not charges. That is what they want the prosecutor to charge. Do you know what indictment means, Cruz? Indictment means your list of charges. That's what. So stop accidentally trying to cover for Andrew Tate with stupid nonsense you heard from somewhere. My goodness. Yeah. An indictment is your list of charges. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the indictment here is the prosecution puts together a huge indictment application with all the crimes listed, with the charges listed, and with all the evidence given. We don't even see that part. We only see the file here, and gives that to the court. The court then analyzes the application and checks if everything is in order, if everything properly fits the requirements, and checks the evidence and sees if there is sufficient evidence for each crime and each charge listed in order to actually make an indictment. Then comes to the conclusion, yes, everything seems to be in order, and we believe a crime may have been committed. Therefore, we will now recognize this. We issue a formal indictment, and this will go to trial. That's what the court does. And this indictment file here is exactly that. So everything has been approved already. These are the charges. Mm-hmm. Now we talked about TikTok, right? So
5 and decide.
Can you hear this?
Make girls do TikTok to enrich myself.
Okay, so here's Tucker Carlson asking him what he did.
To make TikTok videos and stealing the money. So it's really a financial crime? I will not. It's happening here.
I'm charged.
The video is long, but if you can, take the time to watch it. Make up your own mind about Andrew Tate.
Make up your own mind after we totally skew everything and we let him lie to you for 2.5 hours. Then don't look anything up. Just make up your own mind based on the totally skewed, warped, twisted version of events we gave you.
Look at this.
What are you charged with?
That's a really good question. I'm charged with being the head of an organized criminal group, which is in charge of recruiting girls to make TikTok videos.
Wrong.
Steal the money from TikTok views.
Wrong.
And now we go back to what we have just read in the official indictment. It says, forming a criminal group, forcing the victims to engage in pornographic activities, acquiring sums of money from them, large sums of money, using the website's OnlyFans for this purpose. What happened? What just happened? the hell was that? OnlyFans for this purpose and TikTok to direct them there. This is the other translation. I don't know why that one just failed here. Anyway, so yes, you see the lie here already. It is not just TikTok; it is OnlyFans primarily, and TikTok being used to get people on there to increase the number of followers. And the charges clearly listed there are criminal organization, human trafficking in continued form, and rape in continued form. So when he says, "Oh, I'm just being charged for, a criminal organization," and then recruit girls to make TikTok videos to steal their money, that is a complete lie, and he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, and we have the Tate liars in the chat. Haziz says, "Wait, so if there are heaps of evidence, why are they not sentenced and in prison?"
Oh
my goodness! Couldn't you say the same thing about Jeffrey Epstein? Like, why
Yes.
was it? Oh, if there are heaps of evidence against Jeffrey Epstein for a period of 2 decades, why wasn't he in prison for it? Why did they wait so long to charge him with that? Why did they wait so long? Huh? What? Why? Why do police sometimes wait stuff while they're investigating and putting together a case and so on? Well, why? Why isn't it just instant? You find out someone did something and then they're in prison. Why is there this process of investigation and incarceration and then the court trial and then the appeal? Why is there all this extra? Why is it not done? Gosh, these are his fans, man. These are.
Yeah. So, I guess what they're saying is that there shouldn't be a proper system, like a court of law, and
no investigation, no like spending time bringing in witnesses and then continuing to investigate to see if more witnesses come forward who've been through the same thing. It's not, hey, do all the investigating, make sure you have everything exactly as you want it when you go into court. No, it's just if someone did a crime, you just put them in prison. Well, why didn't they put him in prison then? Huh? See, it doesn't make any sense. That's what. See, Top G doesn't make any sense. TikTok videos. He's not even getting money from TikTok. That doesn't make no sense. Free Top G. Free Top G. Free Top Tucker.
Recruiting girls to make TikTok videos and stealing the money. So it's really a financial crime?
It looks that way. And it's very interesting because the girls who they've identified to add to the file are saying that we're not victims of anything.
Oh, really? All 7 of them, Andrew? Because I haven't even heard that lie from you. I only heard I heard that 2. I heard that 2 of the 7 have said we're not victims, but I've only heard that from Andrew Tate's side, and then people who repeated it after hearing it from Andrew Tate. I haven't heard that all these people. The girl who's accusing him of rape, she's saying no, I wasn't raped. Yeah. Really? All these girls who say they were trafficked and tricked and duped and so on, all 7 of the victims, the ones that Luana told, we're gonna fling you off the balcony and all that, and the girls bring this information forward. These girls are coming forward and saying, but we're not victims. We're not victims. And why do you think they're saying we're not victims? Because Andrew Tate says so. The victims aren't even named. So any girl who comes forward and says, yes, I'm the victim, and I say you're not even, your name's not even on there. What are you talking about? How do we know that's even you? So anyway, point is, I don't know. It's just a general rule. So the only thing I've even seen claimed is that 2 of the girls say they're not victims. I've seen that, but he makes it look like all of the girls say they're not victims. And by the way, there's a reason for that, right? There's a reason that you can charge someone. So suppose he's correct. On those 2 girls, that 2 of them have said, no, we're not victims. We're willing participants. There are instances where it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what like if police show up to a place and a husband is beating his wife's face in, and she says, no, we're fine. I deserve it. I was fighting. We were fighting. Don't charge him. I like it. They can't in some places they can say, okay, well, if you're not pressing charges, we have to leave. In other places, they'll say, it doesn't matter what you say. He beat you, and that's against the law. And we will prosecute him, whether you want him charged or not. And so it looks like if they're pursuing charges, even though 2 of the victims say they're not victims, then it looks like in Romania, it's okay. If he actually did the things that he's accused of doing, we don't care if you say you're okay with it or not. It's a crime here. and just to recap for everyone, because you still got the people who, oh, you didn't put a girl in a cage and so on. Let me break this down for you. If you live, let's say you live in New York City, and the girl down your hall wants to become a prostitute, and you say, hey, I'll be your pimp. Here's the deal. I'll set up your meetings, and if any guy gets rough with you, I'll make sure he's punished for it and so on. And okay, that charge would be pimping for that guy. If that guy got caught, the crime would be pimping, some version of pimping, whatever they happen to call it there. If a guy gets a girl to fall in love with him in Nebraska, even though he's in New York, and he says, I'm in love with you, come out here and marry me and so on, and then gets her to fly to New York because she thinks she's getting married there, and she gets there, and then he says, actually, you're my prostitute, get in that room over there. Okay, that's human trafficking. That's human trafficking.
Yeah.
It's a different charge.
I want to break it down to make it very simple here. So a lot of people, that is one of the main problems. A lot of people don't seem to understand what human trafficking actually is. A lot of people don't seem to understand what Andrew Tate is being accused of. And even Tucker Carlson himself in the interview, he says at the very beginning, and by the way, no woman has so far come forth and accused them of kidnapping them and holding them against their will and forcing them to do this and that. I don't know why I'm going back to my German accent lately, but that is not the issue. The issue here is, in most cases of human trafficking, what happens is not that some dark van, some black van with some tinted windows comes and kidnaps the people and takes them to some place, puts cages on their legs and puts them in cages and forces them to do things and beats them if they don't do it and barely gives them food and so on. That's not what happens. What happens in most cases of human trafficking is that the victims are lured through false promises, through deception, through fraud, and then under different circumstances pressured into doing things which they prior to that never agreed to, and then exploited for money. And because of that reason, the United Nations has recognized a certain model that over 180 countries in the world have also recognized, by which they judge, which also applies in the USA, by the way, called the AMP model, which is action means purpose, human trafficking. And in this one, it shows very clearly here on this chart that this is what is human trafficking. So action induce, recruits, harbors, transports, provides, or obtains. In this case, we would say recruits, right, or transports. That's what Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate did to their victims. They recruit them or they transport them.
And induce, because remember, he said that most of these girls had no thought of doing any sort of pornography. He had to get them to want to do it for him.
Yeah. And it means, it says force, fraud, or coercion.
All of the above.
All of the above. Tate. So you could say induce, recruit, and transport. Combine that with force, fraud, or coercion, and then commercial sex. You have the chain here. This, and this coming together is human trafficking. And the courts will judge by that.
And I want to point out, if you look at this AMP model, it is exactly what Andrew Tate spent years telling his fans that he was doing, and telling his fans to sign up for his PhD course so he could train them to follow the same method. By the way, I mentioned it in a previous live stream. I was watching an interview with a pimp. There's a pimp who's been a pimp since like the 70s or something. He's like an old pimp now, but he's like anyway, he's like the king of pimps. And he was the interviewer asked him, like, what about like when you have to beat a woman, and the guy goes, you ain't got to beat him. You do, if you do it right, you're the best thing that's ever happened to them as far as they're concerned. And the way he was putting it, he thinks you're like an amateur if you have to beat women, rather than brainwashing them so thoroughly that you're like their hero.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I want to make one thing clear here. So we put this model out here, right? And some people think, okay, well, is that really what he did? And who says this is a crime? First off, if you like it or not, this is for a reason recognized across the world as a typical model which constitutes human trafficking, and people are judged therefore. If we come to what Andrew Tate actually did, there is a lot of misconceptions around what he actually did, how he actually recruited his girls, his women. Let me tell you step by step what he did to the 6 of the victims here in question. One of them is different. One of them is actually autistic, and she was kind of lured under weird circumstances. We'll get to that. But 6 of these victims and all the others who are probably not named, what he did was the following. Andrew Tate meets a woman online. He targets a woman online. He compliments her, meets her, acts like he is this very romantic, very nice guy. You know, he wants to take care of her. He's so much in love with her. He really likes her character, the way she is. But he also asserts his dominance to her, charms her. And you have to give the guy one thing: he has mastered the skill of charming and manipulating people. Yeah, we can give him that. As you can see,
he used it on his girls, and now he uses it on his fans.
He uses it on the girls, on the Muslim community, and also on his fans. He charms and convinces these women that he loves them and he wants them to live with him. For quite a long time, this goes on. He then convinces them to live with him and fly in to Romania, or if they are in Romania, to take them somewhere else in Romania, to put them into a certain place where they will then live with him. These women know nothing about the business, know nothing about the porn, nothing about TikTok, nothing about OnlyFans at this point. They come in, say a girl from the UK, after meeting him and being convinced that this guy is actually coming for the rescue, because he also specifically says that he targets women who are vulnerable, who don't have much, and who are hoping for somebody to come and help them out. This is what kind of a scumbag this guy is. He targets the woman. The woman is finally convinced, leaves everything she has, flies over on a plane paid by Andrew Tate to Romania and lands. Andrew Tate then sends a message and says, hey, I'm out of town, or I'm out of the country, I'm traveling, I'm busy right now, but a friend of mine will pick you up and take care of you and bring you to the home. And that is one of those 2 girls, Georgiana or Luana. They pick up the girl, take her to the house, put her in the house, and the girl is then put in this house and introduced to all the other girls who are also there. And she's like, wait a minute, I thought I'm coming here to live with Andrew, whom I love very much. I thought I'm here to marry him, or to at least, be a couple together somehow. And they're like, yeah, that's all okay. We will take care of that. And Andrew is busy right now. When he comes, he will take care of that. But meanwhile, I just want you to see what we are doing. We all love Andrew Tate very much, and he provides for us. And by the way, we do this little business and we make a lot of money and so on. I'm really going very fast to this. They have a lot of steps in order to make the girl get used to the idea that they are doing online porn. If the girl ends up not liking what she sees and thinking, okay, I just came here to marry Andrew Tate, I have no idea about all this stuff, and I'm feeling very uncomfortable with all of this, they use different tactics, like trying to take a photo of her, putting it out there, or saying, hey, look, we make this much money and we get to keep all of this, we live such a wonderful life. Or even saying stuff like, hey, wait a minute, you flew here, Andrew Tate brought you here, he paid for your ticket, he paid for all of your needs, for everything. Are you really just going to go back and not even be thankful for that, not even do anything about that? If that doesn't help, what they do is to then say, these are debts, by the way, this guy paid for you, you have to pay this off somehow. And they slowly introduce them to the business. And once they are in there, I have to say, once they're in there, at this point, the entire crime of human trafficking has already been established. This is, by definition, human trafficking, has already been established. But after that, it continues, it goes on. They are constantly made to work a lot, threatened with violence or with other implied things. treated like slaves by Andrew Tate and exploited for money and for work. This is like, let's say I, a man, I meet some guy online. For some reason, he convinces me so much that I should come there and live with him and have the best time of my life ever. And I go there and land. And once I land there, he says, "Oh, by the way, oh, he's not even there. Somebody else comes and picks me up, then puts me in a home where there are a lot of other people, and says, "Oh, hey, we are all here. We all came here from other places, and what we do here is we knit stuff here all day, and we give all of that to our boss, who then sells it and takes most of the profit. This is what we are doing." And I was then somehow made to stay there and to work just like them, under coercion, under fraud, under threats, and so on. That, accepted as sexual, and it's vulnerable women specifically targeted for this. This is human trafficking, and this is precisely what Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate did, and we have a lot of evidence for that, and we will go into those as well.
And you're still getting like. No wonder he gets away with this in the eyes of his dumb followers, because they still say things like this. So this is from Crusader again. By the way, I'm not saying he's not guilty, just saying that the evidence presented thus far and the timeline is very dubious. This is over a period of years. Why not come forward 5 years ago?
Oh my God.
No, why did they charge him with this 5 years ago? First of all, oh my God, I don't even know how to explain. The BTK killer, he was doing his crimes in the 70s, and they didn't charge him till 2004. Why, if he did it, why didn't they charge him earlier, huh? But I mean, think you could say this about anyone. Well, Harvey Weinstein supposedly doing this stuff over a period of years. Why didn't they come forward earlier? Bill Cosby was supposedly raping and drugging all these girls for all these years. Why didn't they charge him earlier? Jeffrey Epstein supposedly doing all this stuff for years. Why don't they charge him earlier? Guys, they can only charge you once witnesses start coming to you and saying, this is what he did to me. If they don't come forward in 2015, you don't know about it. If they come to you in 2021 and say, this is what he did to me in 20. By the way, if you look at the charges, it's like you've got 2016 there on the screen. But look, a bunch of the stuff is 2021, 2022, and so on. It's not until someone comes forward that put it this way. I could murder someone every day. If there's never any witness to come to police don't know about it. They don't know what I've done. So with Andrew Tate, you finally get some witnesses coming forward saying this is what he did. Why? Because the girls, when this is going on, 2016, 2017, Andrew Tate isn't apparently aware that it's a crime back then. And lots of the girls probably aren't aware that it's a crime. So what are you talking about? He got me to come over there. Okay, yeah, he tricked me into doing some online porn. Most people apparently don't even understand that is human trafficking. That is one of the many definitions of human trafficking.
It's not human trafficking to me, so
It's not human trafficking to me. Okay, that's what the law is. Eventually, you get some people coming forward and saying, "Hey, I found out this is human trafficking," and then police start asking questions, and there's actually a bunch of victims of this, and then they're investigating. And this is just last year where it's, hey, we've got enough to charge this guy with some stuff. So let's arrest him, and then we'll continue doing our investigating. And then we finally get the charges now. And then you get, why didn't they do it 5 years ago when they didn't know about it? Why didn't they charge him 5 years ago when they did not know about it? Huh? It doesn't make sense. Of course, if they know about it now, then they would have charged him before they knew about it. It's like, no, Andrew Tate realizes that the world is filled with morons who say moronic things.
By the way, this whole thing started getting real serious, and the Department for Organized Crime started getting involved. It started with a girl who was there contacting her parents because she earned the trust of Andrew and Tristan Tate. She was actually recruited by Tristan, I think. She somehow earned their trust and started getting a little bit more liberal with her phone use and all of that stuff, and then got in touch with her parents and told them what is actually happening here, and they contacted the American embassy. But it already starts here with, I'm leaving to London in a couple of days. Tristan and his brother are terrible people. I'm bringing a girl that's been stuck here with me.
Notice, again, this is 2022. This is last year. This is barely more than a year ago when police are finally going to be catching on to this stuff.
Yeah. So she's saying Tristan and his brother are terrible people, bringing a girl that's been stuck here with me. Maybe I came here for a reason, cutting my losses, and we're making a plan to leave. These guys are actually evil.
Huh. I thought they were all good, and none of these girls had any problem with them.
Yeah. And the family says, be very, very careful. Talk to the American embassy if you can. I bought the girl a ticket. She will transfer money to me.
So she's actually helping rescue another victim of the Tate brothers.
This girl here, she's being heroic and thinking she came here for a reason, and she is now here to rescue the other one as well. The family, I think, tries to convince her to just get out as soon as possible, but she tries to say, no, I am going to take her with me as well. She needs to be freed from here. He moved me into a house with 4 other girls. 3 of the 4 girls have been here for 1 to 5 years, and are their groomers. They normalize taking your clothes off and sending them pictures all together, etc. Tristan's brother is dating, redacted from redacted. She has broken up with him. He texted her telling her if she loves him, she will cut an A into her wrist. His name is Andrew. They are definitely trafficking women. And yeah, I'm going to get this girl out.
They are definitely trafficking women. That's interesting. Looks like she found out what human trafficking is.
And this is one of the girls who was recruited and who actually works for them. And you have here the transcripts. This is from the app WhatsApp, I think.
Wait a minute. She said they're trafficking? She said they're trafficking? I thought all the girls said that, no, they're not trafficking. Because that's what Andrew Tate says.
Come on, no, yeah, it can't be trafficking. Can't be trafficking. The family is even saying, please don't think you are more clever than these guys. Keep a low profile. Be careful how you are getting to get your needs. Do not display your aggression that you have. You will not win. And she's just trying to be a hero. Actually, at one point, they are calling the embassy. And that's what starts the whole thing that is going on. My main concerns are coming from things some girls are saying. It's a lot to explain, but we will be out of here fine. I don't think they care that much if we leave anyways, which is why I feel okay, sort of okay. A lot of girls seem brainwashed here. Look, I know you don't believe I can handle this, but I can. I'm not so concerned. Tristan doesn't really care if I leave. It's more of the girl I am with. Also, I want to go to London to see one of the girls and gather evidence.
So she's saying, hey, he doesn't care a lot if I leave, but he cares if this other girl leaves. And so...
What's funny is you actually have evidence of Andrew Tate on different videos saying stuff like, I don't care if this one goes away because, she's not doing much, but this one, she's working for me and I made her. I threw her stuff out the window.
This girl's making me $80,000 a month. This other girl's only making me $5,000, so I don't care if she goes.
Yeah. This girl is Tristan's girl. What happens here is... what are they doing? I said I want to go. Call 112 embassy. They are waiting for your call now. Okay, so they, at this point in the conversation, the family has contacted the embassy already without her approval, because they are obviously concerned. If I was in that position, I would also do the same thing. They are concerned. They don't trust her heroic attitude here, and they are calling the embassy. The embassy is waiting for the call from her, and this is what starts the whole thing. She's then having an argument like, why did you do this? Why did you call? I didn't tell you to call. I didn't ask. And the family says the whole American embassy is on alert. Shame on you. And she says, that's your fault. Thanks. So she's arguing with them because they called and she didn't really want them to, because she wanted to do things her own way, but they didn't trust her. What's very funny is the next footage that we have here, the next screenshot we have, this one, which has a lot of text, is between that same girl and another girl, probably the one that she was talking about, who was stuck. Here, the two are conspiring on how to leave. And this screenshot was taken by Andrew Tate's fans and his team,
photoshopped it,
and was chopped into pieces and made to look like these girls are trying to frame Andrew and Tristan Tate as these human traffickers, and they're just acting, because there is a part here where they say where they try to plan how to get out. and they say, wait, where was that? Something about the Oscar.
By the way, I remember this when I first saw this in massively edited, photoshopped version from Andrew Tate's fans, and they were circulating it. But they chopped up this thing to make it look like the girls are trying to dupe like the prosecutors, and they're being good actresses for the prosecutors to falsely accuse Andrew and Tristan. That's what it made. That's what the Tate's fans made it look like. When if you actually read it, they're trying to be good actresses in front of Andrew and Tristan, so Andrew and Tristan don't realize that these girls are plotting to get the heck out of there.
Yeah. Well, so what's funny about this whole thing is this was given by the prosecution to the media, and they put it out there like as part of some of the evidence. And Andrew Tate's team take that from the Romanian media, and they forward it to their fans and others, chop it up, make it look like this is actually something in their favor, and completely leave out what the prosecution clearly shows to the media as proof that they were committing crimes, as evidence that they were committing crimes. This is one clear proof that they are trying to manipulate the public perception and make his fans think that he didn't do anything wrong, but he was actually framed and swatted and set up. Here is the part.
Check out the middle there. Yeah, that's what I was looking at right there. I realized right there towards the top, I realized within the past 12 hours, we realized this is trafficking. We lived in the mentality of trafficked women, believed we had the U.S. Embassy and Marines and FBI about to break into this house, took selfies with bread, and had a few panic attacks because I think the embassy's about to break in and stuff.
Yeah. And
now we are sitting here smiling, acting normal. So they're messaging each other while everything's okay because they didn't come. People didn't come and rescue them. So they have to continue pretending that everything is fine.
Yeah, and they're telling each other, "Don't do anything about it. Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious." OMG, I know this is so crazy. What the hell? We can't even. We are so good though. We need a.
See, look, they need an Oscar. What? Because they're falsely accusing the Tate brothers. We need an. My goodness, man.
This part here was chopped and used by Tate fans to say, "Oh, look, they are just making all of this up, and they're trying to accuse him for nothing because of this part." When in reality, she's saying we need an Oscar. Let's go, just play it cool. And then they start joking about how good they are at deceiving these guys into believing that everything is normal, into believing that they are not escaping. They say we need an Oscar for this. They're joking in the middle of a pretty dark situation while trying very hard to get out. And Andrew Tate fans and Andrew Tate take this, change it, and say, "Oh, look, they're talking about an Oscar and they're talking about acting because they just made up this whole plot and they deceived the prosecution and they're just accusing us for no reason. Look, they are admitting that they're just actors," and that's just how deceptive liars these people are. What kind of scumbags these people are. Andrew Tate and his team.
You get girls, you manipulate them into being your webcam girls until it's weird at first, but then it's normal, and then that's just how they live. And then eventually they realize they're being trafficked. They want to get out of there. And so, but no one rushes in to rescue them. And so they have to pretend that everything's okay because they don't want Luana showing up or Georgiana showing up and beating the crap out of them. So they pretend that everything's okay until they can get out of there. And just everyone, does this sound like someone who's claiming not to be a victim? Because that's what Andrew Tate says. He says all the girls say, no, we're not victims. And the state's just prosecuting anyway. This doesn't sound like someone who sees a problem here.
She steals people's stuff. She stole it from plenty. Something will beat her. And other girls, trust me, how would she even know they're here? Hope she will not be awake, and so on. We have, here's, by the way. So one very interesting thing is that these two women, Luana and Georgiana, who worked for Andrew and Tristan Tate, are, I guess, about as dumb as Andrew Tate is. Andrew Tate, for years, snitched on himself on video, admitting to all of the crimes that he committed.
It's called self-snitching.
Yes, here we have transcripts acquired from phones where Luana and Georgiana, the two women who are the overseers and who rough up these girls, of them basically communicating their crimes per phone. I mean, maybe you should make sure that you don't use these phones to
That's what's crazy. It's like
dumb stuff to each other, which then the court will use.
Yeah, it's not as dumb as Andrew blabbing it in videos, but it's still dumb. Like, so you guys have come up with a little criminal ring here where you're just organized now. Like you've got Andrew and Tristan, and they're in charge, and then they've got the girls who keep the other girls in line, and they're getting money. You know, this is how they're making their money, and it's built on human trafficking. So it's a crime ring built on human trafficking, and you're just posting all of these messages, and they don't seem to realize that if one of these girls ever decides to go to cops, they now have records of all this stuff. But notice right there, Luana, first line, OnlyFans. And then you look down later, TikTok. What's the point of the TikTok? It's to get the people to OnlyFans. And you ask Andrew Tate, oh, they're just saying that I'm stealing their TikTok pennies.
Yeah. So here you have Luana saying, maybe you're not listening, I will kill you if we don't make money. Georgiana saying, punch yourself in the face, in the mouth, because I will give you another 10 punches if you when I get there, you lazy something. I don't think it actually says bastard. I think it says something different.
By the way, notice it's both Luana and Georgiana are threatening this girl.
I will break
Luana
you
says, I will kill you. Yeah, I will kill you. She says, I'll break you. And then down at the bottom says, if Andrew finds out you haven't posted TikToks, you won't even have time to pack. You're flying off the balcony straight away.
You see the issue here, the reason why they are threatening her is because she didn't post anything on TikTok. She did not work well enough. She says, what did I do? What did I do? Better said, what didn't you do yesterday? You're 20% down 4 days since you posted. If Andrew sees that you haven't posted on TikTok, then you are flying right out of the balcony. That's what she says here. So they are making them work under threats, in fear, under threats of violence and other threats. This is clear evidence, very clear evidence, authentic transcripts, seen and authenticated, verified, taken by the prosecution, given over to the court, approved by the court as possible evidence in alignment with the charges, and now waiting for trial of Luana and Georgiana, the two women who are obviously working for Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, threatening one of the women to do the online sex work. This by itself is evidence for human trafficking.
This is the threat of force here. So force, fraud, coercion. So you can put this under force or coercion. But notice, even if you didn't know anything about like the details of the case, and you just looked at Tate's videos where he was talking about how he makes his money and how he trains other people to make the money, it's exactly what we see going on in court right in front of our faces. It's like, oh, all the stuff you said you did, now some witnesses came forward and said, yeah, you were actually doing it to them, and that's a crime. And then Tate's response is to pretend he never said he was doing that stuff and that he never did it. And even on the Loverboy method, which he keeps saying, I don't know what's the Loverboy method. I don't even know what that is. What's this Loverboy method? And they say, oh yeah, that's where you get the girl to fall in love with you and come out, which is exactly what he said he did. Now he says, what, you mean being nice to them? It's a crime to be nice to women. I was nice to these women and they wanted to be with me, and now it's a crime to be nice.
Oh, I also have evidence of actually one of the women being seduced with the Loverboy method, and we will.
I was all about trying to get paid.
Get into that, but language alert, I think.
I was all about trying to get paid. Like my whole, I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house and make me money. That's what I wanted. So I was a
pimp in that sense. Like, I was not trying to have sex with women. I was trying to get women to obey me. And I realized that's easier if they like to have sex with me. If they don't like having sex with me, it's pretty hard to make them listen to me.
Deceiving women.
That is textbook lover boy method. I mean,
deceiving women, presenting emotions, deceiving women, and having sex with them in order to make them work for him. Now, there are lots of people out there, and I'm really trying very hard not to insult them when I say this. Lots of people out there who say stuff like, women do it all the time. Women always, trick guys and they deceive guys. They say, I love you, but then they just use them to, make them buy things for them and all of that. Now, first off, what a pathetically dumb comparison. But that is nowhere remotely the same thing. What is happening here is that this guy is actually employing these people under completely false pretenses, with the premeditated goal of just employing these women for online sex work, for porn, and then milking them dry and taking their money. He deceives them, makes employees out of them, then deceives them even further and uses them for sex and money. This is what he is doing. This is not comparable to what some of these incels often say in response to this stuff. And we have even more detail here. Is there anything you wanted to say?
No, I'll let Tate say it. Tate can say it all.
Yeah. Okay.
You cannot get a girl to work for you having fun. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message him on Instagram.
Teaching a course on this.
PhD means pimping hose degree. That's what
so he's saying not only has he done this, and not only was this his method, but now he's teaching other young men to do exactly the same thing. And guys, just keep in mind what he's doing. I mean, he said the girls did not want to do porn. This was not in their mind. They thought it was gross. You have to manipulate them. You get them to fall in love with you, and then you condition them. And then he has an entire process for duping girls into doing porn for him, and he makes the money. I mean, just imagine. I mean, all you Muslim Andrew Tate fans out there. What if he did that to your sister? What if he did that to your daughter? What if you had like a 16-year-old daughter, and you're out there, oh, Andrew Tate, top G. And your 16-year-old daughter says, oh, I like Andrew Tate. You're like, that's good because he's the top G. And he dupes her into falling in love with him. Then she doesn't want to do porn. She's a good Muslim girl. She don't want to do porn. And then he gets her out there, and over a period of several months, conditions her, manipulates her into doing porn for him. And she's under threat of punishment. If she doesn't put out the information, she's not allowed to leave because now she owes him money and so on. And this is like your hero. This is like the hero of the Ummah right now.
But did he kidnap them? Did he chain them?
He didn't kidnap my 16-year-old daughter, so it's fine. It's fine. Why would anyone have a problem with that? Who cares if it's like the exact definition of human trafficking? He's top G. He does what he wants.
Yeah.
And this is the hero. This is now the hero of Muslims everywhere. Like he's the greatest man on earth.
I want to say sometimes, if you think Andrew Tate did nothing wrong and that he is a great guy, then how about you subject your women or your daughters to the same treatment? Like, I don't want to suggest that, but it looks like if I make this comparison here, then you shouldn't have a problem with what I've just said, right? If you do have a problem with what I just said, then welcome to opening your eyes and seeing what this is all about. But no, I want to show this short clip here.
Wait, you're skipping Andrew Tate's methodology, man?
Wait, I think he makes it shorter here.
This is your PhD program?
PhD program, that's right.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
So yeah, on corporatate.com I have my PhD program, and that is
what's going on with this?
PhD is pimping.
What?
It's playing all weird and garbled.
Hose degree.
It's just you.
Clever. This is your PhD program?
Is it all garbled and weird? It's probably just you.
Might be just me.
You have problems all the time.
Okay, go
ahead. I will listen to the people if they say that they also have a problem with it. I believe the people.
PhD program, that's right.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
So yeah, on corporatate.com I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is pimping hose degree that I'm
clever.
That teaches basically how I got girls.
This is like a dumb person's idea of a smart guy. But, yeah.
How I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me. Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich. So that's everything I know from start to finish about not only getting girls, not only obtaining them, but retaining them. Because that's a completely different game as well. So I teach everything I know in there.
So this is very funny because I'm pretty sure this is upcoming here.
But the state believes it's true, and the state thinks that I, as a 35-year-old man, woke up. I was already extremely financially successful. I was already a father. I was already very well known. I had no financial motivation.
First of all, bull. What he said was, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because you've been through this. Didn't he say years ago he owed some crime organization 100,000, but he only had 70, and he realized he had no other way of getting money, and he said the only thing I had were my girlfriends, and I realized I could sell them. But look at him. What are you talking about? I was a billionaire. What would I need to do all this pimping and OnlyFans stuff? Completely contradicts everything he said for years. It was the only way I could think of to make money, because kickboxing wasn't providing enough money. And so I needed more money. And I thought, what do I have? What do I have where I can actually make money? And it's getting my girls to do porn for me. And here he is in an interview with a guy who's supposed to be a champion journalist who should be, wait a minute, why did you say for years that you needed the money, and that's why you started duping the girls into doing porn for you? Now you're saying you would never need to do such a thing because you're so financially successful.
I mean, this should be sufficient for anyone who wants to give this guy the benefit of the doubt for some really messed up, dumb reason. Just put this stuff together here and figure it out. I mean, seriously, man, I don't even know what to say anymore. Hear this part. You hear him talking about this.
And the state thinks that I, as a 35-year-old man, woke up. I was already extremely financially successful. I was already a father. I was already very well known. I had no financial motivation. I have no criminal record. It's not my personality profile, but I woke up at the age of 35 and decided to make girls do TikTok to enrich myself with the pennies that I would earn from TikTok.
The pennies.
Now, first off, it's not TikToks, it's OnlyFans. TikTok is only one of the channels that are mentioned in the file in order to acquire all of this. But contrast this immediately with what I just showed you and listen to what he's saying here, how he actually got rich.
This is your PhD program?
PhD program, that's right.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
So yeah, on corporatate.com, I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is a pimp and hose degree that I'm
clever.
And that teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me. Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich. So that teaches everything.
So how did he get rich?
By getting girls to do porn for him. But he says, oh, it's all absurd. I already had tons of money. I didn't need it. And they're accusing me of just trying to get pennies from TikTok?
Weird.
So weird.
It makes no sense.
Everything I know from start to finish about not only getting girls, not only obtaining them, but retaining them. Because that's a completely different game as well.
Obtaining them.
This must be CGI, because Andrew Tate would never say this for years. Oh.
You know what's very funny about him obtaining girls is this.
Oh, obtain.
Action.
Ooh.
Obtain girls.
Oh.
And then through force, fraud, or coercion, commercial sex for the purpose of commercial sex and make money off this.
You see,
it's very funny. He says it's almost like there's some weird magical thing at play here, but he used the precise wording here. He obtains the women and defrauds them or forces or coerces them according to the plenty of evidence that we have for commercial sex, precisely what he just described and what we can also find in the evidence abundantly.
And that's why he's completely changed his story. At some point, probably within the last several months, his lawyers sat down with him and said, you know, everything you said you were doing for years and didn't think you were breaking the law, would you please look at this? Would you please look at this? Because it's word for word what you said you were doing, and you keep blabbing about it. And I never did any of that. The TikTok. What's TikTok? TikTok. A couple pennies off TikTok. You've seen that. You've seen some of the clips of Bruce Rivers. Bruce Rivers, criminal lawyer, who he has to defend people like Tate, but he's been interviewed. Going through the information about Tate and so on, and he was asked what are Tate's chances of beating these charges, and he said zero.
Yeah,
he goes zero. And keep in mind, I wouldn't even say zero, because I don't know what the level of corruption is over there. I don't know exactly how the criminal justice system works over there, or what constitutes benefit of the doubt. And over there, you don't go in front of a jury; you go in front of a judge.
Yeah.
So things are different, and you could get a judge who veers in one direction or the other. But I mean, it's interesting that a criminal defense lawyer said he's got no chance of beating this, because it's all. He said for years exactly what he was doing. It is the definition of human trafficking. And you've got a bunch of witnesses saying that is exactly what he did. And they have text messages and everything else of it in real time as all this stuff's going on. And so he says 0% chance that Tate beats these charges.
Here
and,
he was
there it is right there.
He was on True Geordie, who interviewed the criminal lawyer, Bruce Rivers, and here's his take on it.
What percentage chance do you give Andrew Tate for being found innocent?
0.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Okay.
we got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Keep in mind that is extreme, because if you're a criminal defense lawyer, you're always like, I'll use this, and and if it doesn't fit, you must acquit, and I'll do all this stuff, and maybe I'll get him off. Maybe it's a long shot. Maybe I only got a 10% chance to get him up. He's like, nope, 0. They got him. They got this guy like they've got anybody.
It's over.
New breed of content to YouTube where we're getting the
There's one part at the beginning.
perfect.
I found funny.
They've on them and he's done across his, and I'm going to use this term literally, career, because he hasn't worked a day in his life really. But is this all coming back to haunt him now?
I call him the gift that keeps on giving, because every time he opens his mouth, he really thinks he's the smartest person in the room, right? and it, to prove this, some of the charges, I've always said you need force, fraud, or coercion. And what does he talk about in the instructional videos when he tells other guys how he set up his own deal? And here's like him, don't like him. There's so many guys that just lick each one of his nut sacks. And
Is that true?
I really don't understand it. It's the guys, clinging, what color is your Bugatti? That kind of thing. They idolize the over masculinity, the overindulgence.
Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to view that part because I find him very funny. But he has extensive content on Andrew Tate where he reviews his self-snitching, reviews the BBC interview where he says who in the world thought it was a good idea to bring him on a BBC interview. It just made his case worse. And also reacted to his indictment, and he says, and without doubt, I have done this for a very long time. I'm a criminal lawyer. Without doubt, this guy is guilty and he has no chance of evading the law. That's what he says.
But think about this. So you've got all these videos of Andrew Tate when he was describing exactly what he was doing and exactly what his methodology was. You've got the information that has been released from the courts, including transcripts of text messages and things like that, where this stuff is happening. You have the charges listed. You've got the list of charges of human trafficking, rape, all this stuff. And then Tucker Carlson sits down. What's it like to be the greatest man in the universe and to only be hated and despised for your empowering message of freedom and equality for all? What's that like? Isn't that hurt? Oh, yeah, because the Matrix. Oh, it's like, you freaking kidding me, man. This is anyway, this is what journalism is coming from.
Somebody that I don't know, and I just realized that before we started live streaming, sent me over a very well put together file of everything that needs to be known on this case, which I appreciate a lot, Guy, if you're listening. And here you can see that the witness statements, he broke it down very well here. You can get an example of how this stuff works here. So victim number 1, UA met TA through Instagram in January 2022. Oh, Tate, Andrew, I guess, Andrew Tate, right?
Yeah,
it began a romantic relationship. They met physically in London in February 2022. Look, this is only last year.
Where Andrew proposed marriage.
Where Andrew Tate proposes marriage to her. Proposes marriage. She moves to Romania at Andrew Tate's invitation with his assistant NGM purchasing her flight ticket. Upon arrival, I think the assistant would be Georgiana. Yeah. Upon arrival,
M's probably some sort of middle initial.
Yeah. Upon arrival, UA learned that Andrew Tate was not in the country and was suggested to live separately, as Andrew Tate lived with several women.
That's odd. Why do you want to marry her?
UA lived with NG along with other women, PY, AB, G, and AMA, who had OnlyFans accounts and shared their earnings with Andrew Tate and his brother.
Wait. So no, keep in mind, because Andrew Tate, he says it. My goodness, you can make a list of like 1,000 lies of Andrew Tate. He said in that other popular video before the Tucker one, he said the OnlyFans stuff was like 10 years ago. That was like 10 years ago. What is this? This is last year. It's still going on. He's still pretending for Tucker Carlson that this is just about TikTok, because you don't make money on TikToks. And they're still saying, no, it's about OnlyFans accounts and sharing their earnings with Andrew Tate. And remember, he said elsewhere that he would tell them they're getting 50% when they're actually getting 30%.
Yeah. So NG handled their earnings and RL managed their social media accounts. UA was given a Huawei phone and encouraged to live stream on TikTok for money with ABG. So what they do is just they're active on TikTok, felt controlled and monitored. She had to be accompanied by NG, PY, or ABG to leave the house.
So she wasn't allowed to go out on her own.
And by the way, we have transcript evidence of that as well, which I can, while we're talking about it, bring up here right away. I think I have it right here. Oh yeah, here. Andrew Tate says, you don't go anywhere without one of the 3 trusted employees. Look, there are 3 employees mentioned here, NG, PY, or ABG, to leave the house.
That's called multiple independent attestation, friends.
Yep. Here we have a separate transcript of messages between Andrew Tate and one of the women saying, you don't go anywhere without one of the 3. Why are you so cold to me? She says to him. Because she has been lured and now turned into just one of the other girls. He says, don't go out alone without telling me. Mall, supermarket, nowhere from now on. I told you I wanted to go alone. It's the last warning, is what he says. We have the evidence of what she is saying here directly from the transcripts. Andrew Tate suggested having sexual relations with multiple women, a proposition UA was uncomfortable with. On March 2022, UA, PY, and ABG were coerced into sexual relations with Andrew Tate at a hotel, leading UA to feel manipulated and upset. In a separate incident, Andrew Tate physically and verbally abused and raped UA in the presence of Kira, TA's brother's girlfriend. Following the abuse...
So Kira was Tristan's
girlfriend.
Raping one girl in the presence of his brother's girlfriend. These are the pillars of morality being celebrated by the Muslim community right now.
Following the abuse, UA recognized she had been emotionally manipulated and abused. We have multiple statements like these, and we have plenty of transcripts.
No, because Andrew Tate says the case file is empty and there's absolutely no evidence and no one is coming forward. They're all saying that the Tate brothers are innocent. Like, can you imagine? This is what you look. This is if you go to the actual case files and the evidence, it's full of stuff like this. And Andrew Tate will go, nope, there's no evidence. There's no evidence at all. All the women say I'm innocent.
They just want to steal my cars and my money.
I just want my Bugatti. It's the Matrix.
Yeah, the Matrix.
And people fall for it. Like,
they just want to silence him because he motivates young men to work out.
He's just telling you. He's just giving an empowering message to young men. And then again, you got Tucker Carlson. What's it like to be persecuted? Absolutely persecuted by the Matrix solely for trying to help young men reach their full potential and spread goodness and kindness to people around the world. And again, even when the lover boy method comes up, you go, what, being nice? I'm just nice. I'm just nice.
Look at this. You have here clear evidence. Look at this. You have clear evidence here. AU says, I'm at home with some girls who work for G. You said I would stay with G. Georgiana, I guess. I feel a bit weird. And Georgiana said you'll probably come in 5 days. That's too long. So this is her arriving in Romania and figuring out that she has to stay with these people and not knowing anything at all and texting Andrew. What exactly do these girls do for work? I thought I would come and we would be together. I understand things are happening, but you need to talk to me and tell me so I don't feel weird afterward. And Andrew says, you shouldn't feel weird. I'm coming home as fast as I can. You know I'm working. So here's the girl. This is evidence of the girl only finding out when she arrives there that she is not here to, get married to him and, live a happy life together as a couple, but rather she's living with these people who are doing something that she doesn't even know about for work for him. And later she turns into one of those as well after coercion, manipulation, and so on. This here is, again, one of many pieces of evidence directly acquired, directly verified to be happening between Andrew Tate and this woman, presented by the prosecution to the court, waiting for trial now. And people still think, oh, yeah, this is all just there's nothing at all. This is just the Matrix.
And
Matrix.
why? Because that's what Andrew Tate says. The guy who's being charged with all this stuff and is about to go to court, he says he's innocent. Just like 98% of all criminals in prison say. They all say they're innocent. Oh, my goodness, so they're innocent, and there's no evidence against them. Oh, I don't know what to do, man. What do you do when, people are this stupid?
It goes on. Later in the same day, she says, baby, what are these girls doing? I feel bad that I don't know. I should know so I can talk to them and not say something stupid or offend them in any way. It's funny because at this point, she's acting like that's just what they are doing. It's not what she will be doing. She's just here to, stay with them for a while until he comes. And he says, OnlyFans. She says, so they undress and stuff or something else? No, just bikini and lingerie.
Liar. Notice everything is about taking. So you've got a girl, you want her to get to over here where she's full on doing porn and stuff for OnlyFans and stuff, right? Andrew Tate's method, do not under any circumstances ask them to do that. Just do not try to skip to the end. You got to take them in small baby steps. Push a little farther, a little farther, a little farther, a little farther, a little farther. And over a period of months, then you've got them doing it. And you just lie to them the entire time until they're doing exactly what you want them to do.
And one thing to notice here is that during this entire conversation, the woman who just arrived, one of the victims, is under the impression that these girls here who are working for Georgiana, not for Andrew Tate. So she's asking, why are here you can see this as well. He says, and they have a live show on TikTok, which makes a lot of money. And she says, then why do they need to work for G? I guess Georgiana. They could do this on their own. So she thinks they're working for her, not for him. He says they can't, not properly, not at the top level. They have big teams behind them that advertise them, work on them 24/7, etc. Those girls make a lot of money. It's not amateurish. So here
it's not amateurish porn of some girl doing porn on her own. They've got an entire team helping them with the porn.
You see here the woman arriving and only finding out that she's supposed to stay together with these, only temporarily stay with these women who are doing online porn, and thinking that they are actually working for this other woman, when in reality, obviously, she was brought there under false pretenses. They are working for him, and she's staying there for a while to get used to what they're doing so she can be brought into it as well and become a regular online porn employee of Andrew Tate. This is clear-cut evidence. Clear evidence. And I want to say one thing. There are lots of people out there who say, "Oh, they haven't been kidnapped. They were aware of this. So why didn't they just leave?" Or, there is no kidnapping, no chaining, no guns, and all of that stuff. I want to bring up one comparison, which is Jeffrey Epstein. Now, Jeffrey Epstein is a known human trafficker, a sex trafficker, right? Jeffrey Epstein is a sex trafficker. Is that true? Yes or no? Yes, it is true. I agree that it is true. A lot of people who love Andrew Tate probably agree that Jeffrey Epstein is a sex trafficker, because it is true. Did Jeffrey Epstein at any point kidnap his victims, put them in chains, put them into cages, and held guns to their heads, and forced them to do things against their will, physically hold them, or anything like that? Is that what Jeffrey Epstein is accused of and charged for? No.
No, I don't know. I don't know a ton about the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, but it's similar in the sense of taking girls step by step. Like first, he would have the teenage girl just come in and pay them to give him a massage. So just come in and give him a massage. Just come in and give him a massage, and then, oh, hey, you want to make a little more money, and so on, and then soon he's got him on his island and stuff, banging all these rich.
I have to correct you there, actually. Banging. Yes, you're correct. The thing is, according to the evidence, Jeffrey Epstein was having sex with many of the girls that he groomed and trafficked, but most of them didn't have sex with all the people that came there. There was only a special circle of very, very rich, influential people who had sex with some of those girls. But in many of the cases, direct sex with the victims of Jeffrey Epstein wasn't even that involved. He mostly used them to have sex with them himself, and also to offer pleasure to his guests, without necessarily engaging in sexual intercourse. But the point here stands: the method is not kidnapping people and chaining and putting them in cages. It is taking women, and they go as young as 14 years old. I think 14 years old is the youngest of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, at which age he obtained them. He influences them, he invites them, he gives them money under different pretenses. He lures them and manipulates them and defrauds them, and then turns them into regulars who come there and who have sex with him, who have sex with some high-profile people, and who otherwise provide sexual, pleasures and enjoyment to his clients that everyone is so curious about. Similar situation with Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is not kidnapping people. He's not putting chains on people. He's not putting them in cages. He's not holding them against their will with a gun. He's luring and manipulating them. And therefore he's a human trafficker, just like Jeffrey Epstein. If you think Jeffrey Epstein is a human trafficker, then Andrew Tate is also a human trafficker. In fact, you could say that Jeffrey Epstein, even, you could say, is on a level more innocent, because he takes the people and already he doesn't give this promise of, hey, we're going to get married and we're going to have a beautiful relationship together. He already invites them with several different favors and rewards and all of that, but just in a very, very wrong way, in order to then eventually turn them into regular sexually exploited victims of whom he traffics. Andrew Tate goes full emotional and says, I'm going to marry you. I love you a lot. You need somebody like me, and I think you are the perfect woman. So come here and live with me. And then they go and fly there, and boom, it was all a lie. They are supposed to become his sex workers and do porn on the internet for him.
Just imagine this. Just imagine, because
I want to talk one thing here. Diane said Epstein had minor children, pretty sure the evidence is that the youngest when she was obtained was 14 years old. And with Andrew Tate, by the way, according to his own admission, one of his bottom bitches, as he calls them, was 15, according to the calculations given by him, possibly 16.
Yeah, there's not a tremendous age difference there. And keep in mind, all these girls are senior citizens compared to Aisha. But no, think about this, because I mean, Jeffrey Epstein was massively better, even though it didn't take a genius to eventually, because there were rumors, and they even called his plane the Lolita Express and stuff like that. So all these rumors going, but he was way better at keeping what was going on kind of hush hush than Andrew Tate, who's blabbing it. But just imagine Jeffrey Epstein figures out a way to seduce these girls. So I start them off with a massage, and after I do the massage, then, after we get the massages a couple times, then I get them to come in there and have sex with me. And then, I find out the best ones, and then I do this. Suppose he came up with an entire method. And then suppose he starts a course, an online course about how to use his method to seduce young girls and get them to do whatever he wants over a period of a few months or years or whatever. And suppose he starts teaching people this course, and he brags about it. He's bragging, this is the method I used for years to seduce these girls. And here's how you can do it too. And then his fans start paying him in order to learn his method of seducing girls and so on. And then suppose eventually some of these girls come forward and saying, yes, that's exactly the method he's been using on us, and we're going to testify against him. And then suppose Jeffrey Epstein were to come forward and say, no, they made it all up. I've never done any of this stuff. It's just a Matrix attack. Well, wouldn't you think there's no way that will ever work? And like you'd have to, the level of stupidity to let someone like that get away with it, which it's too much. There's no way people are going to be that stupid to fall for that. Bull. Andrew Tate did it right in front of everyone.
Yeah.
He spent years doing it. Then he spent years training people how to do it. Then he's doing it, and girls have got all the messages stored on their phones. He's still running his mouth bragging, take my PhD course. Yeah, this is what I do. And then he actually gets taken to jail, and his lawyers tell him, all that stuff you said you were doing is actually the definition of human trafficking. And suddenly, oh no, I've never done anything like that. All I've done was be nice to girls. TikTok? How do you make money on TikTok? I don't know how to make money on TikTok. TikTok, that's stupid, just pennies. And it's like, and people, oh, see, he's innocent. He's innocent. This is a guy who has learned over a period of years how to find stupid people and make them stupider.
Yep. Here is in the indictment file. You see, one of the cases here is described in as happening in 2022, only last year, not a long time ago. Nope. 2022. In the period from the end of 2022 to something 2022, the defendant, Andrew Tate, through the Instagram application and following meetings in the UK, recruited by deception the victim, redacted, by falsely inducing her about the intention to establish a marriage cohabitation relationship and the existence of false feelings. In the period from so-and-so 2022 to so-and-so, together with the defendants Luana Radu and Georgiana Nagel, by exercising physical violence and psychological coercion resulting from actions of intimidation, surveillance, control, and invoking false debts. Remember,
any one of those.
Yeah.
Any one of those would fit the definition of human trafficking. He's doing it all. He's like every. I don't know what to do.
I really have no idea why my mouse always goes crazy like this. But
do not listen to people complaining about it. I've been on multiple streams where anyone who's using StreamYard has that issue with the mouse. So
really?
it's a problem with StreamYard.
Oh, that's a relief. I thought it's
no one cares. Yeah, that's not you.
Okay. So I mentioned earlier invoking false debts, but so when they come, they want to leave, or they say, oh, I'm not comfortable with this. They say. They falsely say, oh, we have done a lot of stuff for you. Andrew has done a lot for you. Tristan paid for your stuff. So you owe us something. Or from last month, you didn't even make enough money. You owe us this and this much money. You can't just leave. You will be sued. We will come after you. You have to first pay off all your stuff and then you can go. And that never ends. That is invoking false debts. They provided shelter for the victim in a building located in so-and-so, as well as in a building located in so-and-so. They also transported her from the UK, part of human trafficking. Under deception, they transported her. What is important here is, so the victims are approached by Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate and are then under false pretenses made to come to Romania, right? They willingly go to Romania at that point. So they are aware that they are going to Romania. They are aware that they are going to go on a plane and the ticket will be bought by Andrew Tate. They are aware of this. It is still human trafficking at this point because they are being taken there, transported there under false pretenses because they don't know why exactly they are going there, because they think they're going there to have a cohabitation or a marriage with Andrew Tate. Or
and
Tristan
in this case, it's marriage. It was because you saw from the other one that she was actually thought she was getting married to Andrew Tate.
Yeah. So she thinks she's getting married to Andrew Tate, which is why she specifically agrees to go on a plane and fly to Romania. Because she goes on that plane, because she travels to Romania under complete deception, under a complete illusion and delusion of what is actually going to happen, it is human trafficking by definition. Within the area of so-and-so, together with the defendant Georgiana Nagel, with the aim of sexually exploiting her by forcing her to engage in pornographic activities for the production and distribution of pornographic materials, using the website www.onlyfans.com. OnlyFans, clearly mentioned here, but no, Andrew Tate says it's all just because he made women do TikTok videos and then stole their money. And by the way, here, and subjecting her to forced labor using the website TikTok to attract over 1,000 followers.
So this is a girl who starts off in 2022 and they give her, you have to get 1,000, you have to use TikTok in order to get 1,000 people over to your OnlyFans site so you can start making us some real money. This is a girl who thought she was getting married to Andrew Tate. Yeah. And it was all part of the plan. And it was part of the plan from the day Andrew Tate messaged her, hey, I really like you, blah, 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 blah. It was always the plan. Yeah, that's the lover boy method, ladies and gentlemen. That's a lover boy. You take a girl from minding her own business, posting some selfies on Facebook or something like that, to doing porn for you. Even though when she was posting, she's just posting a pretty picture of herself on Facebook. She's never thinking about doing porn. You could offer $1 million, you could offer $1 million to her and say, hey, or do porn. I'm not going to do porn. What are you talking about? Ew, gross. And so, but you can slowly get her to do it if you're a good manipulator and you have a good system for doing that sort of thing. And then, of course, Tate did. He had a brilliant master plan. But notice it's a group of people all working together to do the human trafficking, hence the criminal organization. How does this guy, how does this guy think he could beat this stuff? That's where the narcissism comes in. Tate may not be so narcissistic that he thinks he may think he's actually going to be found guilty, but I'm telling you, there are narcissists who think people are so stupid. I can beat all of this. I can beat all. I will. You put me in front of these prosecuting attorneys, I will destroy them right to their face, and the judge will see it, and they'll just let me off of all this stuff. You can have actual narcissists, but one, we understand like Tate's a narcissist, so maybe Tate's a narcissist. He has a bunch of moron fans. He knows he can get away with lying. He's done it for years, and so I understand why Tate keeps lying. It's very, very strange to see one of the most famous journalists on the planet step forward and just, well, you're so great, Andrew. I mean, why is the Matrix coming after you like this when you've done nothing wrong? Obviously. What? TikTok? Come on, man. I mean, what are they thinking?
To be honest, I never thought much of Tucker Carlson. I kind of thought he's a slimy, sleazy guy that's just you can't trust the guy, is what I thought. But I didn't know and hear a lot from him. But after seeing how he handles this this Andrew Tate interview, I have nothing but contempt for the guy, and it just looks like he's doing it. There is no way at all that he is ignorant of the real situation. There's no way at all that he doesn't know what Andrew Tate is being charged with. There's no way at all that he doesn't know what Andrew Tate actually did. The evidence is right out there. I can reach this within minutes. He has a team. He is a giant in terms of media and journalism. He can reach all of this immediately and even much more. There's no way that it's ignorance. So it is most likely deception, most likely coming together with this guy to lie. And why does he do that? I don't think he cares about any of this stuff. I think what he cares about is view counts and money. That's what it is.
By the way, I can't even think of a legitimate journalist. I want to get to the bottom of things anymore. Yeah. It's always, if you're against someone like Andrew Tate, then all you care about is like a gotcha moment for your side, right? Like, I'm going to get him in here and I'm going to say, what about this? And he's going to say, oh, I don't know. And I got you. And then I'm going to be famous journalist for the BBC because I got him. Or you go in there, how can we help you beat these charges? How can we help you to dupe more people? How can we get more people on your side? It's like, whatever. I mean, what happened to someone who's like, okay, let's get to the bottom of this and make sure the population has accurate information so they can make an informed decision about all of this. It's like that's just, I never see that anymore. I never see it. Like, everyone is like, I'm pushing you in one direction or I'm pushing you in the other direction. Under no circumstances do I want you to just be able to make an informed, balanced decision based on all the information. Well, I guess I mean, you're closer to that right now than anyone.
Okay, I want to say something to some people here. Seriously, first off, my crazy life said some girls manipulate guys and make them spend thousands on them, acting like they love him, then ghost him and he kills himself, but nobody cares. Then, right? First off, boo-hoo. Yeah. Okay. Secondly, this is not a comparison to what is happening here. You could reverse the thing and you can say guys do stuff like this to girls all the time. In fact, we know this. A lot of men just find pride and pleasure in only having sex with women, and then use manipulation to just have sex with them and dump them and to get other favors and so on. All of that is bad, yes, but that is not the same thing. Yeah. The same thing would be a woman manipulating and luring a man from somewhere else, inviting them to a different country or a different jurisdiction.
He's coming to marry her.
Yeah, think he's coming to marry her just to then be put into a house with a bunch of other guys who actually all were brought with the same excuses and who do now online porn for this woman who invited you, who will, by the way, never marry you. And you are slowly put into this role and you are coerced into staying there and working for her. That would be the equivalent.
And that would be human trafficking. What you're doing now is you're giving an example of something that's slimy, but it's not human trafficking. It's not the legal definition of human trafficking. So yes, if a girl who isn't interested in some guy at all, but she just wants him to buy her stuff, tricks that guy into thinking she's in love with him and stuff like that, tricks him into buying her stuff. Yeah, that's slimy. That's slimy. That's not what human trafficking is.
Yeah.
So yes, people do slimy, immoral stuff all the time. Lots of it is not actually breaking the law. What Tate is doing is breaking the law. And if there were a woman doing the same thing, but in reverse to men, that would also be breaking the law because that would be human trafficking. The examples that people give are they're either not breaking the law or it's a completely different situation. Like one of the most common ones I see is, they're charging Andrew Tate, but they've never charged Cardi B, even though she says she used to rob guys while she was prostituting herself. Yeah, think about this. If a woman says, hey, 10 years ago, I robbed this dude and took all his stuff because, I was hooking and I took all his stuff. Can police come and charge you? No, you need a victim. You need a victim. You can't say I did this. I could say right now, I killed 1,000 people. Watch this. Ladies and gentlemen, I have murdered 1 million people. They're buried in the woods. Now, am I going to be arrested? No. you need some sort of corroborating evidence, and there's not, because I made it up. So if someone came forward and said, yeah, Cardi B actually did this to me, and here's the evidence, and here's the date, and they gave some information, and if it was within the statute of limitations and police think, oh, this person is believable, yes, she could be charged. That's never happened. Who the heck wants to come forward and say, hey, Cardi B stole my wallet 10 years ago or something like that, and I want to go through court over this? Not a lot of people. But so notice, they always give an example that is insanely different from actual human trafficking. Again, you've pointed out, like the actual legitimate parallels, even though they're never an exact parallel, but actual parallels would be like more like Jeffrey Epstein, who was charged, or some of these other guys who are doing horrible stuff, and victims eventually come forward, and then people get charged. Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby. It's all people in positions who are famous or rich or something like that, who get away with things for years until people start coming forward as witnesses and saying what happened to them. Those are the parallels. But guess what? Those are the people who get charged over stuff.
I mean, just learn the issue, learn the difference, sit down and think about it for 5 minutes. You gave an example of Cardi B, and I saw the same example as well. People are somehow geniuses to bring that up. Cardi B says, I spent lots of years just, having sex with these guys, drugging them, and then taking their stuff and all of that. Okay, people hear this. There would normally be an investigation started if accusers came out and said, hey, she's saying this happened to me, she did that to me, and I want to complain, I want to sue her. And if multiple victims, or even one victim, came out and accused her and wanted to go to court or wanted to appeal to some authority within the country, maybe this would be picked up. In Andrew Tate's case, imagine this. Andrew Tate, for years, he sat there and all he did was to talk about the horrible things that he did. At that point, nobody actually came and arrested him because of the things he said. That's not what this is about. Because they can't arrest him for something he said, but something that cannot be proven, because it would simply be dismissed as, oh, I didn't really mean it. I was just making it up. I was just joking. They arrested him because multiple women appeared, multiple victims appeared, heaps of evidence appeared. They arrested him, put him in jail, to then go all in and gather all of the evidence before anyone can manipulate it. They gathered it all. They brought it in front of the court. The court said, yes, we believe that there may be a crime here at play, given all the evidence that you have provided to us. Therefore, these are now official charges. This is the official indictment. It now goes to court, goes to trial. And that's why this is an indictment. That's why there are charges. That's why the situation is a real situation. That's why this is different from Cardi B or your girlfriend who said, I love you, but actually didn't love you.
Yeah, and notice you could actually make the situations parallel if you made them hypothetical, right? So suppose Cardi B spent years as working as a prostitute, getting guys to hire, then drugging them, stealing their stuff, and so on. And then she does that for years, and she makes tons and tons of money robbing guys. And then she puts out an online course on how she did it. And she says, here's how I did that. And then she spends years teaching her course. And then she goes around advertising her course. And it's like, yes, so all you got to do, you put yourself, you put yourself out there as a prostitute. Some guy hires you. You slip him this pill. It's right here. You slip him this pill into his drink, and then you take all his stuff. And that's all you do. And if you keep doing that, you can make piles of money. And then she's doing that for years. And then suppose 7 victims come forward, and there's like, here's the messages on my phone. This is where she agreed to have sex with me. Oh, this is the message where she sent me and said, ha, 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 I got all your stuff after I drugged you. There's all this evidence. And then imagine Cardi B coming out and say, what? I don't know what that is. I'm just accused of taking guys' stuff on TikTok. You think, are you serious? Right? But that's the parallel. I mean, imagine Bill Cosby. He spent years drugging women. He liked to drug them till they can't move, and then they wake up with Cosby on top of them. But I mean, imagine him like teaching courses, and he's like, you know what I love more than the Jello pudding pop? I love to put the little thing in the drink, and then the girl to drink it, and then the bone. Right? Imagine him teaching a course And then he does it for years, and then he's eventually busted for it. And all these girls come forward, and he just says, "Oh no, I didn't do it. It was Theo," right? And you would think, "Are you freaking crazy?" But Tate's doing it, and people just eat it up. And it's like, and it's not even his dumb fans. It's like super popular YouTubers, and it's journalists and everything.
And
they either hate him or they fall for it.
Look at this comment here.
Who chose to stay neutral?
He chose to stay neutral, Tucker Carlson. Now, I don't want to assume any of your motives.
That's not what neutral means
at all. And some people here are fans of Tucker Carlson and say, "Oh no, he was just trying to be fair and this and that." I'm sorry. If you are a fan of the guy, I don't know why. If you are a fan of the guy, put it aside and tell me if you think this here is neutral.
Hey, it's Tucker Carlson. Imagine being a 6th grade boy in the United States right now. What are you hearing at school? What are they telling you on the internet? Well, they're telling you to stop being yourself, sit still, stop joking, suppress your aggression, share your feelings, obey. Female qualities are virtuous. Masculine qualities are
I'm trying very hard on not to comment on the irony of him saying these things, but yeah.
Here's the thing. Lots of people can agree completely, right? These issues are going on. We're looking at this saying, this has nothing to do with Andrew. This has nothing to do with Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate was, I've come up with a system for duping women to doing porn for me. Now I can teach other people how to do it. And then he posts all these videos about how abusive he is and how he beats women and controls them, and his brother Tristan. This is how you seduce virgins and so on. And then he gets banned from everything, and he comes back and says, I'm just empowering young men. That's my entire message.
Tucker Carlson is being completely neutral. None of this stuff. Look at this.
Look
how neutral he is. Look how
That's
neutral.
the message.
Look how neutral.
In case it wasn't clear enough, schools around the country have removed urinals.
Some schools remove urinals. That's
They're
how
removing
bad things are.
urinals. That because of Andrew Tate.
The male body itself is shameful. Sit down when you pee like a good little girl.
And Andrew Tate is stopping this, and that's why the Matrix is attacking him. And the charges against him have nothing to do with the sex trafficking that he was doing.
Okay, let's get to him. Let's get to him talking about. Let's get to him being neutral about Andrew Tate.
This are often called feminism or woke politics, but in fact they amount to mass conversion therapy, an attempt to change the fundamental nature of people.
Yada yada yada.
Subject of that experiment. As a boy trying to become a man, girls are better? Fine, I'll become one. Or more likely, you might simply withdraw into porn and weed and video games.
Porn.
It's very dumb that people were doing these things long before woke stuff was around, but none of this has anything to do with Andrew Tate. He's just being dramatic here.
And if you withdraw into porn on OnlyFans, you'll probably be familiar with my next guest, Andrew Tate, since he's a pornographer.
Is forbidden, but that does not make it any less real. So it's probably not surprising that Andrew Tate was the most Googled man in the world last year. He offers a different vision. Tate is a former professional kickboxer who about a decade ago began posting advice to young men on social media.
On how to do porn.
Men want respect above all. It's how they're wired. In order to get respect, men must become worthy of it. They must become more impressive. Wake up early, work as hard as you can, stay sober,
women,
find
deceive
God,
them.
Keep yourself physically fit. Don't complain. That's his worldview.
Wow.
Earlier generations of Western leaders might have found parts of Tate's message inspiring.
Wow.
Now it's seen as a threat.
Ooh.
The media treated him like a criminal up until the day he was officially
Why
caught.
did they?
I wonder why.
Why did they treat him? Why did they treat this known sex trafficker who self-snitched for years? Why did they treat him like a criminal? Guys, this is the problem for you. He's just being neutral. No.
Do you think this is neutral?
No.
It goes on.
Do
you think?
Yeah. Andrew Tate has his story. His story, which is insane, is that all this stuff has nothing to do with the stuff I was actually doing for all these years. It's just my empowering message to young men. And you look at those of you who paid attention for 5 seconds to what's been going on for the past several years, know that is a complete lie. It's meant to deceive people. And when Tucker comes on here, he supports the Tate narrative, the completely false, ridiculous narrative that Tate is just being attacked for his empowering message. AP, when we look through those charges, was there one charge in there that was empowering young men? I didn't see one thing in there. It was all, hey, you broke this law. You formed a criminal organization. You sex trafficked this person. You sex trafficked that person. Here's the method you used.
David,
you raped this girl.
Look,
that's what the charges are. Okay.
You bring that up. You bring that up. Look at this. It gets even more disgusting here.
Christmas last year, Tate and his brother Tristan were arrested and thrown into prison in Romania, where they live.
By the
Tates
Matrix.
were held without charges for 3 months, very likely with the encouragement of the British and American governments. In June, they were charged with human trafficking. They're now under house arrest until their trial. Are the Tates guilty of human trafficking? We're not their lawyers, but it's worth noting that as of today, not a single woman has come forward to say that she was kidnapped or imprisoned or moved across international borders against her will by Andrew or Tristan Tate.
Because that's not the lover. Because that's
scumbag.
Does he know? Well, guess what? Neither was Jeffrey Epstein. See?
Is Tucker Carlson ignorant of what human trafficking under
of course
international law and even American law is? I think there is a 0% chance that he's ignorant of this. Is he ignorant of what Andrew Tate is being charged with and what he actually did? I give it a maybe 1% chance of him being ignorant on that stuff. Why in the world is he propagating exactly what Andrew Tate said here, which has no relevance to the case at all, and which is not even true?
It's also true that in some ways, the charges against the Tates seem inevitable, like they were always going to happen.
Listen to this part very carefully. It made my stomach turn when I first heard this part.
Accusing a man of a sex crime is the fastest possible way to discredit what he's saying. Days after WikiLeaks revealed that the US government had been spying on its allies and lying about it, Julian Assange was arrested in London for rape.
Imagine Julian Assange bragging for years about raping girls and then teaching a course on raping girls.
Somehow that fact was not as widely covered. Is that what's happening here? Again, we don't know. Jeffrey Epstein's dinner
party. There's no way of knowing.
Of course, he's saying we don't know since he's waiting for these things, but he's depicting here a heroic narrative, and basically comparing Andrew Tate.
Persecuted.
He's comparing Andrew Tate to Julian Assange, and basically implying that if you share, a positive message, if you do good things, and you are hated by some people in charge, of course, the first thing that they can do to discredit you and to discredit what you're saying is to accuse you of a sex crime. Is that really what could be happening here, Tucker Carlson? I mean, there is. When people say, "Oh, I forgive him for this one," or he was just trying to stay neutral. No, complete bullshit, complete nonsense. That is not what is happening here. This guy is being a scumbag and is helping the other guy out with lies.
Yeah, guys, and notice you could be Tucker Carlson's biggest fan, because guess what? People screw up all the time. It happens. You could be Tucker Carlson's biggest fan. You could have watched him for years and think he's great and think he's a great journalist. At the very least, you should look at this and say, okay, he just got fired or whatever from Fox, and he's trying to build up on his own. And he's trying to get a new fan base on Twitter. And so he tried to reach some Andrew Tate fans by throwing Tate total softballs and going along with his ridiculously absurd and idiotic story about why he's being prosecuted right now. At the bare minimum, you should say, gosh, Tucker sucks right now. Even if you think he's great. Because keep in mind, you can do great work for many years and then just screw up massively. The very least you should say he screwed up massively as a journalist right now. This is garbage. This is absolutely ridiculous garbage right here.
Some people say dumb stuff like, "Oh, you just don't like it. You're just a liberal. You're just a leftist." I never talk about my political views and opinions and who I would vote for and where I would put myself and all of that. I don't care one bit. That's not what this is about. It's not about the whole dichotomy of, "Oh, you're just leftist. You're just right. I don't care. If you think like that, you probably have a problem. I don't. To me, I see a person here who's supposed to be a journalist with integrity, and he's doing a horrible job and helping a human trafficker deceive people. I don't care who is in this guy's place. If it was somebody from CNN, if it was, I don't know, if it was the famous leftist YouTuber Vorsh, if it was somebody else, I would say the very same thing. It is deception. He's being a scumbag. It is horrible, and I simply have no.
It's garbage. It's garbage. And if he wanted to be somewhat somewhat balanced here, notice he could have said all that, but you could say things differently and say, on the one side, you've got the courts and they're presenting this information and they have their witnesses that they're calling, and you've got Andrew Tate's videos for years, and so you have one people giving this story, but there are other people who believe this other version of events, that Andrew Tate is being persecuted for his empowering message to young men and so on. And that, the quickest way, their version of events is the quickest way to discredit someone's message about, empowering young men is to accuse them of sex trafficking. That's why everyone just instantly gets accused of sex trafficking as soon as they say, young men, be strong. And so right now we're going to get Andrew Tate's side of things. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask him some questions. He's going to answer. We're going to get his version of events, which of course will not be the complete story, but we'll get his version of events, and then ask him the questions, and then people understand there's more than one side of this story. But to jump in there and to just say, to act like his story is correct and he's just being persecuted, guys, this is absolute garbage here.
Absolute.
And I've never had the slightest bit of ill will towards Tucker Carlson. I'm like AP in the sense that it would not matter what a person's political perspective or anything else on here. It's like the other guy who interviewed him recently. I have no ill will towards that guy. He does a great podcast and so on. It's just like, why are you constantly throwing softballs? If I had to guess, it's kind of either the stated or unstated probably agreement. Like, hey, if you want to come here and have a nice interview for your channel, you understand that you're going to have to throw softballs, because if you're really coming at him, he's going to end it and you're going to, and he's going to make fun of you and so on. But this is pathetic. I don't care if you're left, right, whatever. This is freaking pathetic.
Zach Neiman said Tata is more successful than any of you will be. I don't know why.
Yes, he's more successful at human trafficking than any of you will be.
I don't know why you call him Tata, but yeah.
Tata is more successful. He's had more Bugattis seized.
Joe Biden is more significant and richer and more successful than you will be. So now what? Now what?
Jeffrey Epstein was a billionaire. So
Jeffrey Epstein was a billionaire. What does this have to do with anything? Man.
That Andrew Tate is a pervert and a criminal.
Hey, got that part right.
The truth.
Oh, yeah.
Either way, we think Tate's views about men very much deserve a hearing. So we flew to Romania to talk to him. We're posting the entire interview here on Twitter because we've been assured.
This is, we think that his views need a hearing. Not really. No, it's notice if you're some person who has Tate's view, this is this ongoing problem, but he's right about this. Yes, Andrew Tate is right about all kinds of things. But when someone is a professional manipulator and you say something that someone else agrees with, I don't know whether you're saying it because you agree with it or because you're trying to manipulate them as well. Once you have established yourself as a professional scam artist, manipulator, pornographer who does nothing but dupe and deceive people in order to benefit yourself, I don't care what you say. I'm not interested. Until you change from that approach, you could say something I completely agree with. It's irrelevant that you're saying to me that you're saying something I agree with, because I don't trust you. If you're a professional manipulator and grifter and scam artist, I can't tell whether you're saying it because you believe it or just because it's another scam. I can't tell. So if I want to listen to someone with an empowering message for young men, I'll listen to someone I actually trust saying that, and not the scam artist, the professional manipulator / scam artist who's saying it. There are plenty of people giving empowering messages to young people. Why go to the scam artist? But everyone keeps doing the same thing. But he's right about this. Therefore, we'll just ignore all the sex trafficking because he said young men need to be strong. So who cares about the sex trafficking? Well, who's that stupid? A lot of people.
I don't understand what you're saying, David. Are you saying that Osama bin Laden, for example, like he was being treated like a complete villain, like a monster, and all of that? But he says some very, very good things. Like he says, that there is a lot of injustice in the world, and America, meddles in people's in the internal affairs of other countries. We need our freedoms. We need self-determination and all of that stuff. So he says a lot of things that we should listen to. Doesn't this mean that we should therefore, excuse the stuff that Osama bin Laden officially claimed to have done, including flying planes into buildings? Shouldn't this mean that we should embrace this guy and give him a chance?
Hi, I'm Tucker Carlson here and interviewing Osama bin Laden. And as everyone knows, the quickest way to discredit someone's correct message is to accuse them of terrorism and of being behind 9/11. That's exactly what happened to this guest. Osama, tell us about how...
Mind you, I have to remind you of one thing. Osama bin Laden did admit that he was behind the planes being, flying into the buildings, but he never, as far as I am aware,
Tate admitted that he was trafficking. That's irrelevant.
Okay. But
it doesn't matter what you admit.
He never said it's terrorism, though. So Osama bin Laden never said it's terrorism. He never said it's a crime. He just admitted to doing it. So therefore,
Osama could have come out and said, actually, I never had anything to do with any terrorism ever. Nothing. I was never part of Al Qaeda. Was never calling any shots. Never encouraged anything. I only encouraged young men to be strong.
Look, here's another one. Saber says he never trafficked women. Now,
was Saber not paying the slightest bit of attention to?
I have to say this
ever.
once again. Under international law, in the United Nations, in nations across the world, including the U.S. and yes, Romania and many other places, the AMP model is taken into account when it comes to human trafficking. If you don't like it, that's your problem. It's the law. It's there for a reason. Under which it says, if you, through these actions, through these means, for this purpose, engage in certain activities, then this is human trafficking. If you induce, recruit, harbor, transport, provide, or obtain people through force, fraud, or coercion for commercial sex or labor services, this is trafficking. In Andrew Tate's case, in his own words, he obtained the women, recruited the women, or induced the women, transported them through fraud, in other places also force and coercion for commercial sex. Therefore, Andrew Tate has by definition, objectively engaged in human trafficking.
Yeah, I think what Saber is saying here is, but he didn't say this was trafficking. Yeah, I don't think he actually knew what the definition of trafficking was. But following Saber here, if I say, I wanted to see what it was like to kill somebody. So I went around and looked for a guy, and then I waited till, he was walking through the woods, and I ran up behind him and I slit his throat and I plunged a knife in his head and then I chopped his head off and I played with his blood. And then I get charged and I announce all this online. This is what I did. I just kept stabbing him. His blood was everywhere and stuff. And then you say, he admitted he murdered that guy. And you go, but he didn't say murder. I didn't say murder. Like, okay, yeah, but everything he just said is murder.
You skipped the part where you also put out a course and tell other people how to murder.
Yeah. He also put out a course, and I said, hey, if you wanna do this, then this is what you do. You sneak up. I mean, imagine, because people could have a course on how to assassinate and kill people and so on. And my goodness, what a bunch of dopes, man. It's just like it's almost pointless. It's almost pointless to even talk about this stuff because it doesn't matter. You say, here is the definition: this plus this plus this equals human trafficking. Here's Tate saying he did this plus this plus this, therefore human trafficking. He didn't say human trafficking. He didn't say that.
Listen to this.
I don't know what to do, man.
So the recruitment process.
I love how this video
recruit.
starts.
Did he just say recruit? Because that's on the list.
No, a girl to work for you, haven't thought. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system.
Ooh.
I don't mention webcam
Ooh.
until after I've had sex with the girl.
Because you have to
If
trick
you're on dates and you're trying to mention it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that. That's disgusting. I'm not a whore.
These are girls
It's
who
not
are
gonna work.
revolted by the thought of doing it.
You continue as normal, no mention of webcam.
Ending.
You fuck the girl. After you fuck the girl, you do the PhD test. If she passes the PhD test and she wants to be with you, then you
Wants to
start
be with you. Marriage.
Yeah, but you know, you're always busy. You're always at work. You can come work for me. So, as I said, you cannot try and approach girls to do webcam. Hi, do you want to do webcam? It's bullshit. It doesn't work. No one's going to say yes. And any girl who does say yes is doing it. She doesn't like you. She doesn't know you. She doesn't love you. She's saying yes purely for money. Any girl who wants money that bad is going to skank you and leave you when she realizes you get a big cut of it. So even if you do get a girl to say yes that way, even if you do say to a girl, look, let's make some money, she's only in it for the money. She's not in it to please you.
By the way, yes, he just sneezed. Andrew Tate fans probably can't believe that he also sneezes like every other human. He also goes to the toilet.
I can't believe that he didn't just start the video over, because he's only been going for like a minute. Like, why didn't you start that video over? You'd only been going in a minute. Guys, let's start over. I just sneezed. Can we start over for 1 minute?
If she's only in it for the money, she's going to get pissed off with her cut. Because they're going to Google up how much a token's worth, how many tokens they made, and all that shit. You get pissed off with their cut. Remember the tax thing, so you only pay them 30% instead of 50%. It's important.
30% instead of 50.
So you don't want a girl who's in it for money. You want a girl who's in it to be with you. So you meet a girl, you take her on dates, you fuck her, whatever. She passes the PhD test. Then you start saying things like, oh yeah, but you're always working. I have to do.
Freebird said, isn't this just like OnlyFans? No, it is not. If a woman decides to create an OnlyFans account and put herself out there, no matter if you think this is a morally acceptable thing or not, you in that case, a woman is actually signing up for something, doing something on OnlyFans for money, gaining money from it on her own agency. And by agency, I'm not talking about an organization as an agency. I mean, by her own will. Mm-hmm. She's putting stuff out there, making money through that, and she can stop at any point. In this situation, this guy is deceiving people through fraud, through manipulation, through lies, through false promises, transporting them to a different place, and then manipulating them and coercing them into creating content for him, while also defrauding them and taking most of their income.
And he's specifically targeting girls who he admits would be repulsed by the idea. And his entire course is, how do you take a girl who would never in a million years dream of doing OnlyFans for you? How do you, over a period of months or years, get her to do porn for you? That's the method. Guess what? It's the same method that pimps use. You take a girl who would never dream of being a prostitute. How do you get her to become your prostitute, working for you and giving you your percentage of the money? How do you do that? There are methods. There are methods to do that. Tate is using the method. He apparently was too incredibly stupid to realize that it is human trafficking. It is one of the definitions of human trafficking. He's even using the exact same wording that is in the charges of human trafficking. It's the definition. And you're what? Well, you didn't say that, or what? Oh my goodness, man.
I look at this indictment file here. After listing all of the things that Andrew Tate did to the women, false feelings, inviting them to make them work for them, it says here, and this is an official document released by the court, because it comes as a result of the prosecution applying for the indictment and the court reviewing the evidence, approving it, saying yes, the evidence fits the allegations here, the charges are valid, and makes an indictment out of this. So this has been reviewed, put together carefully by the prosecution, reviewed by the court, approved and put out there, and you are like, oh, I don't know, I don't think that's human trafficking. But it says here very clearly, these actions fulfill the constitutive elements of the crime of human trafficking in a continuous form as provided by Article 210, paragraph, and so on, for criminal acts. So this is all human trafficking.
And
it says here in this official
for
document.
years. It's going
Yes.
on for years. 2016 to 2018 for one victim, 2022 to 2022, 21 to 22, 21 to 22.
So here's the court, the prosecution, and the court coming and saying, okay, yeah, this is human trafficking. We will have a trial on this. And then some rando who is on the internet who likes Top G says, oh no, Top G never do human trafficking. So please, man, please.
Gosh.
Here's the charge of rape. On the date 2022, at so-and-so, the defendant Andrew Tate coerced the victim by exerting psychological and verbal pressure intensified by the entire factual context to engage in normal and oral sexual relations. On this date, in such a building, Andrew Tate coerced the victim by exerting physical violence and psychological and verbal pressure intensified by the entire factual context to engage in normal and oral sexual relations. And mind you, the prosecution is putting these things together and abiding by what requires proper evidence to make such a charge and presents them. So these are not just claims, they're charges with evidence presented to the court already, which will then go to trial. It's not just your random accusations on the internet.
But no, Andrew Tate said in the Tucker Carlson interview, everything is just about some TikTok videos. So see? So who cares about everything that's actually in the charges and everything that Andrew Tate said he was doing for years and everything the witnesses claim? Andrew Tate says there's no evidence against him. It's all made up because of his empowering message, and Tucker Carlson agrees. So that case closed. Yeah, good luck with that in court.
The question is being asked here.
I had no financial motivation. I have no criminal record. It's not my personality profile, but I woke up at the age of 35 and decided to make girls do TikTok to enrich myself with the pennies that I would earn from TikTok views.
What a liar.
So in the United States, I think the belief is that you were charged with human trafficking.
Yeah, that's human trafficking because what you do is you force a girl to work against her will for financial gain. That's human trafficking. And their justification for this is that girls do TikTok. Some girls I know who they found who say they're not victims have TikTok accounts.
How do you force someone?
These girls who say they're not victims.
That's a complete lie. It's a complete lie.
Notice
that's what the charge is.
He'll speak for 5 seconds and there will be like 7 different lies all in there in one.
Yeah, you can't go through 10 seconds without lies.
TikTok videos.
I guess the prosecutor is going to have to explain that, isn't he? It's a very interesting scenario I'm in, and I'm inside of Romania, so I have to show a degree of respect to the Romanian judicial system, and I have to show a degree of respect to the situation I'm in. But the overall charge is that it's an organized criminal group. There's a group of us. I'm the head of it. My brother is below me, and we use the lover boy method to convince women to do TikTok videos to make money so that we can steal the TikTok money.
Not the accusation at all.
Not the accusation at all. Not what actually happened. Not what the charges are. Nothing.
The situation is nothing he says that is correct.
I have demonstrated here very clearly, 100% without a shadow of a doubt, that he is completely lying, that this is not what happened. And you can review it all again if you missed it. Go to the beginning, look at it again. We will probably go through it again just because it is so beautiful. But that's a complete lie.
No, just to be clear, you are not accused of pandering, of pimping, of forcing women to have sex with anybody.
No, not forcing them to have sex, not restraining their movement.
That is false, again.
Not stopping them from living a full life.
That is also false.
But the fact that we are somehow convincing them to have TikTok. Very interesting. I don't think...
But there's no actual... I'm asking you this because I do think it's a widespread belief that you were accused of pimping.
Yeah, no, that's nothing to do with any of this case. Absolutely nothing. And it's kind of scary because the crime in itself of human trafficking is a unique one because they can ignore the statement of the victim. So the girls have come forward and said, this is insane.
That's a lie.
Notice the girls, even best case scenario, if I believe the information that he put out months ago, that 2 of the victims said they're not victims. It is clear that some of the victims are saying this is what he did and it's human trafficking.
And we have the victim testimony
He's making it sound like all of the girls who are supposedly victims have all come for he knows that this is absolute deception, and Tucker lets him get away with it.
We have 4 witness statements, 4 people who accuse him, and we have their statements. We have the transcripts showing what actually happened. We have transcripts of those girls being brought to Romania and only then finding out that he's actually running this whole business. Oh, there's just so many lies. It is incredible.
You've just picked us because we're near Andrew and we're his friends. But the whole idea of the crime is they can say that she's brainwashed, right? She's under duress. So you can
It's false.
ignore her statement. State says she's a victim, regardless of the fact that she says she's not a victim.
Lies.
So it's very interesting because the difference between sex and rape is consent, right?
Right.
But they remove all of that. They're like, nope, you're a victim. No matter what you say, we're deciding you're a victim. And they've chosen them. And of course, these girls do nothing pornographic. They've never had sex with anyone, nothing to
Nothing pornographic?
do with that. So they've picked TikTok. So it's scary. Imagine you're a full-grown man anywhere in the world today.
All right.
What a
Everybody, if you are actually an Andrew Tate supporter at this point and you are watching this guy is saying that he's only being accused of not doing any porn, of not making them do any porn, of not making them do anything weird.
It's
and
just
anything sexual.
TikTok. It's just TikTok.
Just making them record TikTok videos and taking their money. Here is the official indictment paper. I don't know how in the world else I can make this clear for you, but the crimes mentioned here are the aims of sexually exploiting them, forcing them to engage in pornographic activities. Now, look, I'm making a distinction here and not even saying it is true that he did these things, right? I'm only responding to what he's saying here and showing you very clearly that this guy is lying. He is saying that these charges, that the accusations are about just, convincing them to make TikTok videos and not even anything sexual, not even pornographic. Here is the file. Here is the file. It directly contradicts with what he says.
It says right
the
there,
file
the aim
directly
of
says
sexually exploiting her by forcing her to engage in pornographic activities. Oh, it's not even porn. It's just TikTok.
Subjecting her to forced labor.
Pennies. I don't make anybody off TikTok. Oh.
Lying to them,
Liar.
transporting them to certain places, making money through OnlyFans, not TikTok, using TikTok to for this work to get people on OnlyFans and to make money, recruiting them by deception, transporting them. I mean, this directly contradicts with everything he just said. With everything he just said.
Yeah. And notice, even if you wanted to say the charges are wrong or something like that, he's acting like this is all he's charged with, because
he's lying about the charges.
Yeah. The point is to make the charges seem absurd, right? It does seem absurd. I'm accused of manipulating girls into doing TikTok videos and I don't even make money from TikTok. That's ridiculous. And you say, oh, that does sound ridiculous. That does sound insane. Guess what? Not what he's charged with at all. What he's saying he's charged with is not at all what the actual charges are. And it apparently journalists do not care anymore.
Tucker Carlson doesn't care. He doesn't care about correcting. He doesn't care about pushing back. He cares about none of it at all.
Which, by the way, notice it's people's true colors come through. So you could say, hey, I liked what Tucker, just like you can say, I like what Andrew Tate is saying when he says these things about, hey, quit being lazy, quit playing video games, get up and do something with your life. I really like that. Okay, does he really believe that? And he's an actual upstanding, great guy promoting that message, or is that part of the grift? So suppose you've liked Tucker Carlson for years for the message he's sharing. Well, he's showing right here he's glad to sell out for a few more views. So how do you know he even believed the stuff he was saying for years? Like, how do you even know that? Like, that's what I mean. I don't know. It's like you can grant someone the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, I'm going to trust that this person is saying what I believe. It's the same thing with the Dawa guys, right? Like the Dawa guys will give all this stuff. What happens when you catch them lying and catch them lying and catch them lying again, and then they give you their new argument? It's like, doesn't it occur to you to be like, I don't trust you anymore. Once you have shown yourself that as a person who cannot be trusted, I don't care if you say something that I agree with 1000%. I do not trust you because you're a slimy person.
Yep, exactly. By the way, look at this. I find this very, very interesting.
You actually have to down the ones who are really in love with you won't do that. You actually have to downplay your relationship with the girl of 6 years, which is difficult. And I only get away with that because the girl of 6 years plays along. So Vivian's been with me 6 years. She's completely head over heels in love with me. She wants kids with me, everything.
Remember, she has been with him for 6 years.
And we met and we felt whatever, we're in love. But when a new girl comes, she'll go, oh yeah, I started off working for him and it's just how it worked out. She'll super downplay us. When I bring on new girls, I usually pair them with Vivian. Because Vivian's younger. Melissa's like 28, Vivian's like 21.
Did you catch that? Vivian is 21 and she has been with him for 6 years.
Do the math, ladies and gentlemen.
What age was she at, according to his statement here?
Do the math.
Is it 15 or am I just wrong here? Maybe he's wrong. Maybe it's 16. I don't know.
But it's interesting. They'll call Jeffrey Epstein a total sicko pervert, and Andrew Tate is the golden boy of
golden shower.
All that is wonderful in this world.
Amazing, man. Absolutely brilliant.
Vivian's younger. She's more fun, more outgoing. Melissa's really quite, not in a bad way. She's more homey, boring, sits at home. The ones who are...
So yeah, this is him. This is a very interesting footage. I also want to bring up something here quickly from Tristan Tate, since we have so much from Andrew Tate about how he's admitting basically
the girl who had my kids,
whatever crimes. Here we have Andrew Tate. Here we have Tristan Tate.
The top girls, they earned a lot, but they weren't working for money. They were working because they liked me. They respected me. They wanted my attention. They wanted to end up as my main girl, or the girl who had my kids, whatever it is their dream was. So they work away, and I keep large percentages of the money. That's one of the reasons I got so rich in this business. So, giving them the sex, giving them the attention that they needed, I found myself much more free. A lot of them.
So yeah, here's him basically using emotional manipulation and taking much of the income. Oh, yeah. Do you want to bring this here up again? We have this one here where Andrew Tate says on his own website, my job was to get women to fall in love with me.
This wasn't his website. According to the BBC interview, he said that wasn't my website and that wasn't my method, even though you can check out videos where he says, yes, that was exactly my method, and go to my website, which is right here.
Oh, yeah. I think we should actually put those things together as well. On the BBC interview, he said, no, that's not my website. I never said that.
Yeah, after his lawyers explained to him that exactly what you said on this website, that is human trafficking. And he's like, and all of a sudden, that's on my website. What are you talking about?
The thing that you say on these interviews, that's a crime. It's human trafficking. Don't say that anymore. Don't say that. Oh, so I'm not supposed to say that I'm that I manipulated women into loving me and that I told them I would get married with them just so that they would have sex with me and would then make money for me. I shouldn't say that. No, don't say that. That is a crime. What kind of a crime is that? Everyone does that. I do that all the time. That's human trafficking. Why? I don't think it's human trafficking. Basically. But so here's him saying on his own website, literally, that was my job. My job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her, test if she's quality, get her to fall in love with me, to where she'd do anything I say, and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together. Whether you agree or disagree with what I did with her, loyalty, submission, and love for me doesn't matter. You cannot reject the results, and the results are simple. My girlfriends would do more for me than 99.9% of men's wives would do for them. If this was written by...
They'll even go to prosecutors and tell them what I did.
Yeah. If Jeffrey Epstein, let's say Jeffrey Epstein's website is actually this, and he says, literally, that was my job. My job was to beat girls, invite them over several times, test if they were quality, then get them to fall in love with me so that they would do anything I say, and then get her to these parties so we could become rich together. Whether you agree with what I did with their loyalty, submission, and love for me doesn't matter. Jeffrey Epstein could say these very same things, and you would say, what disgusting human trafficker. Well, guess what? If Jeffrey Epstein is a human trafficker, then so is Andrew Tate. Both of them are human traffickers.
Does he ever address who punched him in the face right here?
I don't know. Maybe it was
someone, obviously.
It was his brother.
I got out of line and Tristan had to put me in my place, but I deserve it. I'm not a victim.
You mean Andrew?
Or Andrew, yeah.
They can find two girls who have TikTok on their phone, which is every single female on the planet, and they can accuse you of forcing them to take the TikTok money. And even if the girls say they didn't do that, this isn't true, then you're still a human trafficker.
Who believes this scumbag? Who believes this?
Look at what he just said, how he represented things. That prosecutors, because of his empowering message to young men, not because women actually came forward and said he's trafficked us and he raped me and this and that, which is what the court documents actually say. Andrew Tate's version of events, because he knows he's talking to a yes man, right? Someone who has become an obvious yes man here. He can say, they're trumping up charges against me. They're accusing me of just making girls produce TikTok videos and I take the pennies, and all the evidence they need is to go and see if the girls have a TikTok app on their phone. And if the girl has a TikTok app on her phone, which lots of girls do, they will accuse me of human trafficking. That's the entire case against me. That's what he's saying. Like, what level of stupidity do you have to have that this actually works in your community? Again, the only parallel I see is with the Dawa community, where they can literally say anything and their fans will just believe them. It doesn't matter how obviously absurd it is. It doesn't matter how ridiculous it is. It doesn't matter how much it contradicts everything else they've ever said. It doesn't matter how much it contradicts reality or anything that we can verify. Just say it, and you have been conditioned to mindlessly accept it. That's true. Hey, you're muted, man. What are you doing?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Amateur, rookie.
Tamer Ashraf said, it enrages me so much to see him blatantly lie and to know that so many people believe him still. I know, but it's just amazing to me. I just feel like a lot of people who at this point, after seeing these things, still think, oh no, Andrew Tate did nothing wrong. You're just jealous. They I don't know. I think that there's something wrong with them as well, and that they don't have any sense of human compassion, any sense of understanding the laws and the way things work in the world. Because I don't know. It's incredible at this point.
Force, what does that consist of? Forcing someone to do something? Are they accusing you of using violence or?
No, they're accusing me, and this thing, they're accusing me of using the lover boy method, coercing them by being nice.
He says coerce.
Coercing them by being nice.
Yeah, that's it. Notice that, and he rolls with that story. What's the lover boy method? You mean that I'm nice to girls? That's it? That I'm nice to girls, and not that I trick them into making them think that I'm in love with them and that I want to marry them to get them to come out, and then I manipulate them into becoming webcam girls instead?
Did his lawyers at this point not explain to him that the lover boy method is part of what constitutes human trafficking under the law? Did they not explain it to him? I don't understand.
What he's saying is what they're calling the lover boy method is just him being nice. So he's nice to girls. So listen to his story, ladies and gentlemen. We've gone through the court documents. His story is that he's being charged with being nice to women who happen to have TikTok app on their phone, and this is the case against him.
Who doesn't have a TikTok app on their phone? And I'm just being nice to them.
And I'm nice to girls who have TikTok apps, and now they're charging me. Why? Because of my empowering message to young people. Like,
does this say that he's just being nice to them when it says forming an organized criminal group to sexually exploit them and force them to engage in pornographic activities, subjecting them to forced labor and different methods of control and so on? Does all of this look like it's just about him being nice to these girls and making them do TikTok videos? Do these charges down here, when it comes to Tristan Tate instigating to assault or other acts of violence toward the victims, or when it says about Georgiana, one of the two henchwomen, when it says that she assaults and commits acts of violence against these victims, again, does this mean that it's just about him being so nice to them and convincing them to make cool TikTok videos? No.
And think about this. Even in some of the documents we've read already. Well, you're not using force. You're not using force. He's going to throw you off the balcony. I'll kill you. Punch yourself in the face until I get there. And I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Those are the women who are doing this on orders from the Tate brothers. And no force. It's just, hey, I was nice. I'm nice to some girls who happen to have TikTok on their phones. That's the only evidence against me. How's this guy? I mean, gosh, if I were the prosecuting attorney, I would be using this in court in front of the judge. Like, wait, you want us to trust you that you're a truthful person on the stand when you're denying the charges against you. Here's you telling other people what the charges are. Let's go ahead and watch this video and you explain to us how this is what you're actually charged with and that you're a truthful person that we can believe right now when you're giving your version of events.
I find that very funny that Bruce River, the criminal lawyer, he reviewed his whole interview with BBC, and he basically went on a whole thing like, who in the world are this guy's lawyers? How do they think it is a good idea for him to go on the BBC and make these statements while the case is ongoing? This will be used against him in court. That's what he said.
Yeah, and guys, you notice, I mean, lots of times lying is not a crime, right? Just saying, that's not my website. That's not a crime. Not a crime to lie about your website, right? But when he's on the stand and he's explaining, no, I never did that to that girl, your credibility is in question. Why should we believe you that you're telling the truth and not this woman who's accusing you of rape? Why should we believe it's your word versus her word? Why should we believe you rather than her? And all of this, the BBC interview, if I were the prosecuting attorney, I would put that up and I would say, okay, here's you saying that that's not your website and that's not your method. Is that you? Yes, that's me. And that's your position, right? Okay, here's this other video from 2 years earlier where you say that's your method and that's your website. Is that you? Oh yeah, that's me. Well, were you lying then? Oh yeah, I was lying. Okay. It's like, it looks like you will say absolutely anything to dupe people. And now you're saying you're innocent of this rape that this girl's accusing you of.
So here's one of the women that he brought to Romania, who didn't know prior to landing that she is supposed to live together with these other girls who do videos, slowly getting used to stuff. She says, B asked me if I want to go live with her on TikTok. What do you say? Andrew says, why not? What is it? Just TikTok? Do it. It's simple. And she says, yes. He says, cool. Okay, we'll see. And he later comments on it. On seeing it, says, I see your bouncing breasts and cute smile on TikTok. Very interesting comment. Here is the context provided. While Andrew is saying here that he will never ask her to do OnlyFans, he induces another victim to ask her to take lewd photos for OnlyFans. The bitch referred to here is AU. This is consistent with his online courses where he says, you don't do the selling, your bottom bitch does the selling. A girl has to hear it from a girl.
Yeah,
this
so
is
Tate is constantly saying, what? No, I'm not going to have you do that. No, but he has another girl telling you to do it.
Yeah. And look, while he's texting her, like very nicely, he's texting his bottom bitch here and says, did you tell the bitch how much money you make?
This girl who thinks that Tate is in love with her and wants to marry her.
Yeah, and this girl who is just casually living with these people and just who was just asked to appear together on TikTok, and she was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, why not? Meanwhile, Andrew Tate is plotting in the background with the others and saying about her, did you tell the bitch how much money you make? Ask her to take pictures with you, okay? So, and she says, so me and her in the pictures? Yes. What kind of pictures? Anything for OnlyFans. She says, in lingerie, she won't do it. And Andrew says, we'll see.
Yeah, he's gonna manipulate her into doing it.
Additionally, Andrew says she can keep all the money from TikTok, but in reality, she's still working for Georgiana and handing her at least 50% of the earnings, according to the witness statements from the file. And so on. I mean, you see here very clearly in the conversations between AU or UA and Andrew Tate that she flies in thinking that they are going to get married. She discovers that they are doing online videos. She only later finds out that they're doing sexual videos. Then he instructs them to slowly get her into it, to seduce her by saying, hey, we make a lot of money, and refers to her as a bitch. And in the end, they somehow convince her and start doing stuff together. And they never get married. It never happens.
And notice he's really, hey, so to get her out there, hey, I love you. Oh, you're the one for me. Come on out. We'll get married and stuff. And then it's all part of the plan. And he's done this with multiple girls. And he's announced in his training program ahead of time. This is his method. And then he gets her out there. And notice he's saying the exact opposite to her. So he tells her, no, I'm not going to make you do OnlyFans. And behind the scenes, hey, you get her to do OnlyFans. You get her to do OnlyFans. And then it's trying to ease her into it. Just get some pictures. Just put some pictures on there. Why do you want her putting pictures on OnlyFans? Because you want some revenue coming in and say, wow, look how much money you got from those pictures. Maybe you should do more. And it's all manipulation. It is all classic lover boy method. And what I don't get is when you look at how he treats his girls. Notice the dates on here. This is 2022. This is 2022, right? This is last year. Do you think Andrew Tate had some big moral breakthrough and he stopped having two faces, saying one thing to one group and then saying something completely different? When Tate is just alone with it's like him and Tristan, and he's talking about his fans, and he's telling, oh no, it's just I'm only accused of being nice to girls who have TikTok apps on their phone. What do you think he says about these same fans when he's talking to Tristan? He's like, yeah, the morons, these idiots, these stupid dumb morons who keep sending me money for my program and go out and spread these lies about us. Yeah, they're morons. He has the same level of contempt for you, his fans, that he has for the girls that he was duping. It's all, I'm a mastermind and I can get everyone else to go along with anything I want because they're stupid and I'm a genius. That's it. That's what he thinks about you. That's what he thinks about the girls who are doing this for him. And it caught up with him on the girls. They eventually came forward. And you just wonder, why are the girls who eventually realized they were being trafficked so much smarter than his fans, who are even dumber than the girls that he was trafficking?
That's really a thing to consider if you are a loyal fan of Andrew Tate, because you love what the guy says and he so much appreciates his fans. Just look at the conversation that we have had here. If you missed parts of it, go back, look at it. Here is a girl being lured by him and treated like a queen, and he's like, "Oh, I love you so much. I would never make you do things," and all of that. Meanwhile, he texts with the others and refers to her as a bitch, and says, "Make her do things. Come on, slowly tell her how much money you make."
And it's amazing that they're putting. You get a full story from this, right? You've got Tate's message to one girl, Tate's messages with the other girls. And it all fits together perfect. How do you deny this when you walk into court? And it's like, here's what happened on this device. Here's all the records from this device. Here's this person confirming that that's what this. Here's this person confirming that. What's your story, Tate?
I was just joking.
They found a TikTok app on her phone, and so they just accused me of all this stuff because I don't want boys sitting on toilets. It's like, wait, what?
So look at this. Here she is, slowly getting into it. Several days later, says to Andrew, "Baby, why did Georgiana asked me if I want to make a fake TikTok account. I don't want to work for her." And Andrew says, "I don't understand." What? He's acting like he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, I have no clue. What's she asking you for?
If you are here right now and you are seeing this part and you still think, "Oh, no, nothing wrong here." Wow, I don't know what to tell you. He's acting like he doesn't know what's going on. He's like, "I don't understand." What? Yesterday she came home and asked me if I want to go on live with B again, and I told her I can go in for support. It's not like I would like this. Then she asked me if I have another phone with me that she can make a fake TikTok account for me, and I told her I have another phone, but it's just for calls. And she told me she has a good camera phone, and I was weird. I didn't tell her anything clear. I wanted to talk to you first. I don't like men talking to me and stuff. And what is that? I don't know what that means. Andrew says, "Instead of going live with B, go live alone and keep all the money. I know you don't like men talking to you. The truth is that I will be very busy with work often. So if you also had something to do, it would be very good. Plus, you will make a lot of money. I will not let you have a normal job where men see the real you. No way. On screen, I don't care. TikTok is better than in a nightclub where men really try." So notice how this whole relationship very quickly, very rapidly went from, "I love you so much. You are such a wonderful woman, and I will be your man. Come and be with me. I will be your hero, baby."
Look at it right below this. He's talking about being her husband.
How it turned from that into slowly making her an employee and saying it's better than a nightclub. I have a 3-step plan. You can, and if you're my wife, I want you to be involved. I want
you to be involved. I want you, if you're going to be my wife, I want you involved in my plan. which will
You
involve
have to
doing
listen,
porn
think
for me.
carefully, and understand what I'm about to tell you. About to tell you, when she is already in Romania and many days have passed after taking her there under the guise of supposedly wanting to marry her. You have to listen, think carefully. The plan is I want to get this house for free for us. I'll show you. And then
Beautiful house.
shows a picture of a beautiful house.
Yeah, look at his 3-step method here.
Look how we're going to do it. 1, start working with Georgiana and work hard, like the other
Work
girls
hard, doing
trying to
porn.
catch up. You will make a lot of money and you will keep all of it to be rich. But it is important for the girls to see you working, so they too will try harder to work.
Yeah, you're going to be my wife. See, you're special. And by the way, he's telling all these girls that they're the ones and they're the special ones.
He's telling all of them this very same thing. Both girls are obsessed with you. Georgiana just called me. They like you a lot. So we'll fuck them together.
Yeah, we're partners. We're partners in, so you know, to the rest of the girls, you'll seem like just another one of the webcam girls. But just so you know, keep it hush hush. But you're my real girl, and we're the ones who are using them for money. But I need you doing the same thing with that the rest of them are all doing, so that it looks good and they'll want to work hard too.
You're
See?
my one and only baby. We will use them together because they like you a lot, but you are my special one. And maybe we should involve those 2 other ones too to have
We're a
sex with
team.
us because we're a team together. I don't even know. I don't even know.
Look, this girl's actually, I mean, even though she fell for this, I mean, she is the one who eventually realized it's all a scam. But look right there, she kind of, like some girls, like anything Tate said, just like his fans, anything he says, no matter how insanely moronic it sounds, or no matter how completely disconnected it is from what he just said, they'll just, oh, okay, that follows, because they're too stupid. And lots of people would be too stupid to see it. But she actually, what's this have to do with the house? What does this have to do with the house?
Okay.
And he says, earn a lot of money.
So step two, we'll do a threesome and we'll F them, make them love you as their girlfriend. We F them as a team. I'll tell you the third part in person. And she says, what does it have to do with the house? He says, I earn a lot of money and they will buy it through Georgiana's company from their salaries. So is the house for me or for the girls?
Actually, it's for me.
Andrew says, actually, it's for me. But that means us, because you're my wife forever. Don't ruin it. And what he actually means by that is he says, you all are my wives. And it's for all of us together. I meant me and you. You keep all the money. They buy the house. Can I trust you with this? And
can I trust you? You're special.
And she says, when you said to work with Georgiana, did you mean TikTok or also OnlyFans? Andrew says, only TikTok. And
meanwhile, he's messaging Georgiana, hey, get her on OnlyFans.
Yeah. Look, funny. Exactly. Here. She says TikTok or OnlyFans. He says only TikTok. Look at this. After that, will you ask me to do that too? I've heard stories about, they didn't sound too good. Andrew says, I didn't care about that whore.
See, but this other girl, it turns out that she had to do all this stuff and she's horribly abused him. I care about you.
I don't care about that whore that I also
care
brought
about
here.
her. I only care about you.
That I brought here under these false pretenses. I care about you. And I will never ask you to do OnlyFans. Never. And now let's go back up here again.
This guy's a scumbag. This guy's a scumbag, man. And I mean, again, what kind of journalist
look here again
lets all this stuff slide?
And here, let's go back up here and see. Did you tell the bitch how much money you make? Ask her to take pictures with you. Okay, so me and her in pictures? Yes. What kind of pictures? Anything for OnlyFans. In lingerie, she won't do it. We'll see. This is talking about the same girl while he is romantically texting her and saying, oh, only TikTok. Only TikTok. I will never ask you to do OnlyFans. He's instructing the other guys, the other girls, to make that, to tell that bitch how much money they are making and to start stuff for OnlyFans.
And yeah, notice, I mean, it's always like to the girl he's talking to, you're wonderful, you're going to be my wife. You're and behind there, that whore, I don't care about that whore, I don't know what you do, man. But what's a mate? What I can't get my mind around. By the way, I have to go because it's 11 here, and I got to go take care of my kid.
It's been 3 hours. Well,
yeah, we've been going 3 hours. But notice with me, it's always you look at all this, and a pattern emerges. The pattern is a liar and manipulator who will do absolutely anything. Once you've absorbed that, how do you not see exactly what he's doing now to his fans? Like how could you be a fan, see how he acted towards his women, and then somehow not see that he's doing the exact same thing to you? How? I can't, for the life of me, I can't figure it out. A manipulator, the reason a manipulator manipulates is that's just a method that he has it's somehow ingrained in his mind. The best way for me to get what I want is to duping other people into doing it for me and giving it to me. That's the best. If I want $1 million, the best way I can get $1 million is not for me to go out and do all the work to get the $1 million. The best way for me to get $1 million is for me to trick a bunch of people into giving me $1 million. That's the best way to get $1 million. That's what a manipulator does. And so you can see Tate's entire life. He did have things where he was working hard. If you become a champion kickboxer, that's a lot of hard work and so on, but that's not paying off enough. So he knows how to be a manipulator. And so, hey, I can actually dupe other people into giving me money. First, I'll do it with all these girls, all my girlfriends. I'll get them to do porn for me and they'll hand me money. Ooh, now there's all these guys that I can dupe into me thinking that I'll train them to do the same thing because they all want to be like me because they see me walking around with a bunch of hot chicks and piles of money. So now I can get all these guys to give me money. And now I'm being charged and so on. Let me still keep everything going. And just go global with it and say, hey, I'm a self-help guru for young men, and that's why I'm being attacked by the Matrix. Now sign up for the war room. How does it never enter your mind that this guy's entire life is manipulation and deception and grifting and everything? Like how? I do not like notice when one of his fans thinks, oh, Tate is really concerned about me and he's a really good guy who's trying to do the best for me. You are just like one of these women going, oh, but he wants me to be his wife. I'm the special one. He manipulates everyone else. He doesn't care about those whores, in his words. He only cares about me. That's what the fans are like. Yeah. He's been a horrible deceiver and manipulator with everyone else, but me, he really cares about. How freaking stupid are you? That's the question. All right, I got a bolt now. I think.
Okay, wait, before you leave, look at this one final thing here. Tristan has a new girl. Andrew says, and with Tristan's new girl, you're doing a great job. He wants you to bring her back. Yasmina says, does she know about OnlyFans? Tristan says no, and she's studying to become a lawyer. She doesn't care. And she's then slowly turned into one of these women.
Yep.
He brought her there with the promises, and she's studying to become a lawyer, and she is then slowly turned into online porn worker. That's what he's doing with people.
And again, for all you fans out there, what if that was your sister? What if that was your daughter? What if that's your 15, 16-year-old daughter? You guys are defending a groomer, a manipulator, a rapist, a sex trafficker, a horrible, all-around horrible individual just because he started saying things that you agree with. And as soon as he started saying things that you agree with and started babbling about the Matrix, you went, oh, okay. Oh, he's just a really great guy who's being persecuted.
You're just saying things to motivate young guys.
Saying things to motivate young guys. And the only thing he's being accused of is getting girls to give his TikTok money to him because they have TikTok apps on their phones. And he was nice to these girls. He said some nice things and some nice text messages to them. And then they had TikTok apps on their phones, and that's all the government is coming after him for. They're making up all these trumped up charges.
No, the Matrix is just after him because they want to get rid of urinals, and that's the problem here.
Yeah, I have to say at this point, it's like if you are stupid enough to fall for this, you deserve being deceived more than these girls did, because these girls might not have had access to this information. They might not know anything about Andrew Tate. They just, oh, he's a fighter and he's a super cool guy and he's doing well in Romania, and oh, he's sent me all these messages saying he's in love with me and wants to marry me and so on. Okay, if that's all you have to go on, I can see why you fell for that. I can see why you felt you didn't have all this information. Right now, we have piles and piles and piles of information from the courts, from Tate's previous interviews, from all the witnesses and so on. You have no excuse. If you fall for this, you are just an idiot who's easy. You're what manipulators refer to as a soft target. A hard target, someone who's hard to manipulate. If you fall for this, you are the king of soft. You are the kings and queens of soft targets. If you fall for this, because if you fell for this, you will fall for absolutely anything. And if you fall for this, get used to a pathetic life, because even if Andrew Tate goes to jail and you stop following Andrew Tate, you are going to follow the next grifter who comes along, because you are a world champion soft target for manipulators. Get used to being used by people.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say.
If you still believe him, okay, go on, David, get on.
Yep,
thank you. Yeah, I'll still stay here and be here a little bit.
Hey, don't talk trash about me after I go.
I can't resist, man. Yeah, if you at this point still think Andrew Tate did nothing wrong, then put your head in those urinals that Tucker Carlson was talking about and flush it. But I wanted to bring something here that somebody sent to me here. Where is that? Where did that go? I'm trying to download an image of a section of Romania's law on human trafficking. Since some people still think, okay, but I don't see how this is a crime. First of all, if you don't see how this is a crime, then I sure hope nobody does these things to you and your loved ones. If you still don't see it, then I don't know. But here's the law. This is a Romanian law on human trafficking: recruiting, transporting, transferring, harboring. Wait a minute. What is this? Why do I look like this? Transferring, harboring, or receiving a person for the purpose of exploiting him, carried out by coercion, kidnapping, misleading, or abuse of authority, taking advantage of the impossibility of defending oneself or expressing one's will, or of the state of obvious vulnerability of that person, by offering, giving, accepting, or receiving money or other benefits in exchange for the consent of the person who has authority over that person. It is punishable by imprisonment from 3 to 10 years and the prohibition of the exercise of certain rights. Trafficking in persons committed by a public official in the exercise of his duties is punishable by imprisonment, and so on. The crimes here, as mentioned, were committed. The crimes, as internationally recognized here, were committed. The action of inducing, recruiting, harboring, transporting, providing, or obtaining, among which several of these were literally done by their own admissions before, by means of force, fraud, or coercion. All of those took place, some by their own accounts, others by the evidence that we have, in order to for commercial sex, as found in his own statements and also in the evidence, constitutes human trafficking. If you have done these things, congratulations, you have engaged in human trafficking. If Andrew Tate has done these things, then yes, he has engaged in human trafficking, just as Jeffrey Epstein has engaged in human trafficking. If you don't think that this is human trafficking, if you don't think that Andrew Tate engaged in human trafficking, then you should also say that Jeffrey Epstein didn't engage in human trafficking, because they have essentially done quite similar things. It is human trafficking. And I don't even want to know what some people think about the whole method of actually meeting women online and luring them through promises of marriage and, being the only one and all of that, then flying them into a country, then to slowly, deceptively introduce them into what they are actually here for the online business, to make you money through TikTok and OnlyFans videos. Not just TikTok, not just publish TikTok videos. They are supposed to publish videos on different platforms, promote them through TikTok, and link their OnlyFans page, where they then make all the money for Andrew and Tristan Tate. This is what is happening here. That is human trafficking. If some sick, weird people still say, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, then I don't know what to tell you, but the law is quite clear. And I hope these guys go to prison for a very, very long time for what they have done so far. And I want to put this here out here one more time, this parallel here, because it was so beautiful.
Woke up. I was already.
Here's Andrew Tate speaking about the charges and about the accusations.
That we're not victims of anything, and this isn't true. but the state believes it's true. And the state thinks that I, as a 35-year-old man, woke up. I was already extremely financially successful. I was already a father. I was already very well known. I had no financial motivation. I have no criminal record. It's not my personality profile, but I woke up at the age of 35 and decided to make girls do TikTok to enrich myself with the pennies that I would earn from TikTok views.
Wow, ridiculous. Ridiculous. Why would I do such a thing? Why would they accuse me of doing such a thing? I already had all the money. And now listen to this one more time.
This is your PhD program?
PhD program, that's right.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
So yeah, on corporatate.com, I have my PhD program, and that is PhD is a pimp and hose degree that I'm
Clever.
And
Clever.
that
Quick comment again. If you think that it's clever, then this is like a dumb person's idea of a smart person.
that teaches basically how I got girls, how I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me. Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich. So that teaches everything I know from start to finish about.
So how did he get rich? By meeting people, meeting women, making them fall in love with him, then making them make videos for him, sexual videos, and making money. That's how he got rich. What did he just say to Tucker Carlson in that interview? Of course, this is so absurd. Yeah, so absurd that I would, as a successful man at the age of 35, want to tell women to make videos on TikTok and then get rich. Well, yes, of course. The part about TikTok is a little bit absurd, because that's also what that's not what the court claims. That's not what the prosecution claims. That's not what anybody claims. That is just something he makes up in order to deceive his gullible fans, in order to make it look like he's just a victim of the Matrix or something like that. You can clearly see the charges. The charges are not about convincing girls to make TikTok videos. It is about luring women under false pretenses, making them do videos on TikTok, on OnlyFans, different platforms, coercing them, threatening them with violence, using Georgiana and Luana to threaten them with violence, and so on. Man. Oh, here. He also mentions how he's accused of being this leader of this organization and all that, and acts like this is an absurd claim. Here is a transcript where she says, I heard that you are the one running the business with the girls, OnlyFans and TikTok. He says, T and G are, Tristan and Georgiana are, but I'm the one leading them. Which, by the way, is also not entirely true. We have a different transcript from one of the women explaining that Andrew is the boss, Tristan is under him and reports to Andrew, and the girls then report to Tristan. Look at this conversation here. Andrew Tate says, you need a tattoo of my name. The girl says, no tattoos, baby, I hate tattoos. They look cool on others, but not on me. If I told you to put my name on a tattoo, you would do it. So you better hope I don't want that. And I don't want it yet. So you don't want what I want? He says, you want what I want. And she says, then it's good that you don't want me to get a tattoo. He says, not yet. It will be important to me, but I need to see that you deserve it first. So when she becomes one of the girls, she will have a tattoo. How many girls already have your name? 2. I think we should focus more on our relationship than external things. Andrew says, you will write something else, something nice. She says, I want to remain pure. He says, pure women submit to their men. This is how he treats them. And in the public, he acts like he said several times that they just love him so much that they get tattoos of him because they love him. But no, this is how he does it. This is exactly how he does it. I don't know. Here is one about the prosecution. This is an interesting part. Luana says, Professor Cesar Patricia, this is the prosecutor in the case. I found them on Facebook. Do we know them? They like money. This here is a plot on bribing the police and the prosecutors into dropping charges, into not going after it, and so on. There's so much going on here, so much proof that they are guilty, so much proof that they are human traffickers, so much proof that they have done horrible, absolutely abhorrent things. If anyone at this point still doesn't see it, I don't know what to tell you. For all those who missed it, what was that one part about cutting an A into your wrist? That was very interesting too. If you have only caught that tattoo part and you think that is extreme, where is that wrist? Was it not here? Was it somewhere else in the transcripts? I don't know. I showed that earlier. But yeah, I don't know. We've gone through it all the time. We've gone through all of it. I can go through it forever and ever and ever. There is a lot more that needs to be talked about when it comes to the interview, when it comes to the case, the charges, all the evidence that we have, and all of that. I might have somebody else here for a part 2 of this, because there is just so much to go into. And obviously, a lot of people are fans of Andrew Tate. A lot of people are still unaware of what he's actually being accused of, what has actually been put into the charges, what he actually did, what the evidence really is, what human trafficking is, and so on. Yep. With that said, let me quickly get into some super chats here, and then I will leave as well. Travis Worrell said, "How can I find a copy like that?" I will link the copy. I will link the file of the indictment on my Twitter page. I will post it in a little bit, so that everyone else can also obtain it and show it to others who don't know it, because you can ask the court for it and they send you the file. They literally send you the file in which the charges are listed, the charges that he denies. Fred West said, "Is there a proper rebuttal to my parents who accused me of trying to fit in with the majority of white people because I've converted to Christianity? My family is South Asian, but I grew up in the USA." There will be a question for David. Unfortunately, David left because he's a weakling and he wants to take care of other things. Travis Worrell said, "I have a friend I argue with all the time about this, and I can never find the English indictment. Where can I download it, please?" I will post it on Twitter. It is originally in Romanian, but some people translated it. There is a Google translation version, but it doesn't read very well. But I just received a very properly translated version of it as well that I can put out there so that everyone can read it for themselves. The charges, just to repeat them again, Andrew Tate is charged with human trafficking in continued form, creating an organized criminal group. Wait a second. Let me bring that in front of me so I don't get it wrong. Forming an organized criminal group, human trafficking in a continued form, rape in continuous form. That's the 3 charges for Andrew Tate. Tristan Tate is charged with forming an organized criminal group, human trafficking in continued form, and instigation to assault and other acts of violence. And the other 2 women, who are their assistants, are charged with human trafficking and organized criminal group. And Georgiana is charged with assault, other acts of violence, and taking their devices and using them against their will and manipulating them and so on. Hope that's accessible to everyone. I think Tate diagnoses the issues men face correctly, but addresses the problem with terrible solutions that are often sexist. Would you agree? I'm not sure what David would say in this place. I would say that often, I think, no, I don't agree with his diagnoses at all. He says very basic things that I've heard 1,000 times from regular random people on Twitter and on other platforms all the time. And I don't know. I'm not there with you at all. Larry, said everyone needs to see the true story. The Sound of Freedom includes actual footage, the raid. Great Grand Imperial. I'm just skipping this because I don't know anything about the issue and the topic at all. I need to look into that sometime. Great Grand Imperial Ancap said Tucker was on video countless times throughout the years defending female and male pedophilia because the male should be grateful he gets laid. Isn't that a very common narrative among lots of people, which is kind of sick and disturbing? Nick Schroeder, thank you guys for exposing Andrew Tate. I wish we didn't need this. I wish we didn't have to do this. I wish people weren't dumb enough to be manipulated by this guy into believing whatever he says. Your tears are wine to me said men fall to gold diggers by picking the wrong type of women. And vice versa. It's not just about women. It's about I mean, you know how it goes with both sides trying to exploit others for their fame and their money and their whatever it is. Slavic Tris said, "Hey, I sent email of special pictures you might like of AI generated gold reign of Muhammad. I will look at it. The real Mass Crusade neutral. Let Tate make up his own narrative." Exactly. He wasn't neutral. Tucker Carlson was not neutral in this interview. He used it entirely to let Tate say whatever he wants, to lie to millions. He lied together with Andrew Tate. He made him spread his lies. He painted him as a victim, as a hero. He compared him to Julian Assange. It's sick. I don't know what you think about Tucker Carlson. I don't have much of an opinion on Tucker Carlson in the past, but I think with this interview, what he did for clicks, for views, for money, probably is complete deception, complete fraud. This was a complete scumbag act on Tucker Carlson's part. He's not ignorant. He knows exactly what Andrew Tate did. He knows exactly what the charges are. He has to do his research. I mean, there are two possibilities, right? You can either assume that Tucker Carlson is not aware and is ignorant, which means he's an absolutely horrible journalist. Do you want to accuse him of that? Or do you want to accuse him of being dishonest and deliberately aiding this guy and making him lie to the public for whatever motive, whether it's views or money? There are these two options. Which one do you want to pick? Do you want to say that he's a complete idiot and a horrible journalist? Or do you want to say that he has no integrity and that he was a complete scumbag and all that? I mean, pick one. Or otherwise, offer me a different explanation. I just don't get it. Men use women way more than vice versa, aka Tinder swindlers and my last boyfriend. Yeah. Sir White Meat said, "First of all, I'm not a sir, I'm a woman. I changed my name because of you guys. I think Tucker believes Tate because he's been hurt by Fox. I don't know. I can't tell. It's just impossible for me to believe that I can sit down here and gather all kinds of evidence, including just the charges. And Tucker Carlson can't do it. It's impossible for me to believe that. I give it a 0% chance. I don't think it's possible at all. How dare you question Tata?" Flames of Zoroaster said, "On a grand scale, do you think the left often falsely accuses peeps of the right, which muddies the waters for people like Tate and makes them look good?" I don't think this is a left-right issue. I think it's a common public perception and deception issue, and that shouldn't be an excuse, especially not to somebody like Tucker Carlson. Anthony Lafleur said, "Andrew Tate and Islam are a perfect fit because both know how to lie." I have to give Islam one thing here. If Andrew Tate ran his business under an Islamic state, he would be put to death. He would be killed. He would be put to death. Because yes, in Islam there is slavery, there is sex slavery, women are treated like dirt, and so on. But what he did, porn already is not allowed. Then using women for porn, having them live with you, have sex with them all while they create online porn, and doing all of this through deception, he would be put to death under Islam as well. He would be put to death for this. No integrity from Mr. Tate. Really, what David said should hit some of the fans harder than it does. You see very clearly they are on file in the transcripts that he treats these women like they are everything to him. He's like, oh, I love you so much. You are different. I will never make you do these things. You are my wife, and I love you, and it is you and me together. While in the back, he is talking in extremely degrading ways about that same woman and is telling the others to make her do things. The same way he treats his fans like he loves them a lot, and in the back, he probably talks about you fans like complete idiots who just believe whatever you're told by him. The real massacre said Tate lying is as obvious as the liars in L.A. Noir. Chris in Christ, how dare they say Sound of Freedom is QAnon conspiracy theory? Some of the same people. The charges against Tate are a conspiracy of the Matrix. No conspiracy involved in either. Okay, I can't get there right now. My brain is completely dead at this point. Carlo Magno TV said, conservatives will listen to Tate because we have a common enemy in liberal, feminist, progressive leftists. I hope many will realize he is a grifter. I mean, are you really that opposed to liberals, feminists, progressives, leftists that you would sit down with Andrew Tate? I just don't get it. I mean, for years... For years, you have conservatives. For years, you have conservatives and others come together and say, and talk about groomers, and talk about corruption, and complain about porn, and complain about how, women today are, or young girls today are led astray to do all kinds of terrible things, and men have bad influences. For years, conservatives come out and complain about these things, just to then come and stand behind and support an actual groomer who, under false pretenses, takes women and ruins their lives for his own gain, and also creates online content in which he teaches other men at home, other young men at home, to do the very same thing that he does. Are you kidding me? For years, conservatives complain about grooming, and then they come and support a groomer, an actual, literal groomer, who says that one of his girls, one of his bottom bitches, in his own words, was with him for 6 years, and she's now 21 years old, which would put her at the age of 15, or at maximum 16, right? Who grooms women into becoming his servants, his slaves, as he calls them in his transcripts, to sell other women this idea and also turn them into slaves to make money for him by having sex with him and doing whatever he wants, putting his name on their body, cutting themselves with an A. And he puts out videos telling millions of others to also do these things. Because it's easy to do. It's amazing. You will get rich. This is how I got rich, he says. For years, you complain about grooming, and then you come and support this guy. Please get out. And I mean, anyone who complains about grooming and then actually supports this guy, get the hell out. If you have a problem with Jeffrey Epstein and then you come and support Andrew Tate, get out. You are a hypocrite. You are a complete hypocrite. Yep. That's how it is. Bud Boyden said, hi, AP. Hey, Dr. Dizzle. Dr. Dizzle is gone. He's a weakling. He has to go rest. How many logical fallacies has Andrew Tate committed so far? I detect ad hominems, dramas, ignorance appeals. If you want to go into that. Wow, really? I mean, I tried to say lie whenever I detected a lie within the first 5 minutes, and it's too much already. But yeah, he tries to discredit the law. He tries to discredit the courts. He tries to discredit his opponents. He doesn't want to acknowledge. He twists the entire narrative of what he's being accused of. He twists the charges. He denies the charges. He clearly lies to his fans, his viewers, to all those guys who sit there and say, oh, this guy's actually a very nice guy. He makes a lot of sense. He lies to them. He lies to you. If you are a fan of Andrew Tate, he sits there and lies to you. He lies to you about the charges. You sit there and you support him. You think, oh, what a great guy. Those who hate him just hate him because of his positive message and all of that. But he's a wonderful guy. I wish I was like him. I want to support him. He is a hero. Meanwhile, he is out there lying to you. directly to you, in your face, while he is grooming people and probably talking about you, his fans, as complete idiots. I mean, I imagine he's sitting there while you are basically sexually pleasing him in your mind as an Andrew Tate fan. He probably sits there and thinks, oh, all these fucking idiots, they're stupid. They just support me, whatever I say. That's what he does probably. Okay. Yes. Gray said, what is your favorite piece of Islamic literature? The Quran is my favorite. Is this a question? I don't know. I had a favorite book when I was a Muslim, which was actually which I have here, which is The Alchemy of Happiness. When I was a Muslim, when I was a strong believer, this was a very beautiful book to me. It made a lot of sense. I tried reading it after I left Islam, and it just sounded so stupid to me. It sounded so ridiculously dumb to me, and I was wondering, why did I like this back then? I don't even get it. Paul Sidney said, conservatives become hypocrites when the accused is not liberal. That's why they are standing behind Tate. This is what polarization does to people. And I think that is the problem. It's polarization. It's not that that conservatives are dumb or inconsistent, or liberals are dumb and inconsistent. It is a human thing. It is the polarization. It is the us and you. It is the left and the right, the enemy. And Andrew Tate is brilliantly taking advantage of that situation as well, and playing the us versus them game when he comes out and says that he represents a certain part of the population of humanity against the Matrix, against the bad guys, and against those people who help the Matrix, against those weaklings who don't want you to be strong and who don't want you to be confident and fit and all of that. He fuels that very thing. And this is what it leads to. If you put aside all of the partisanship, all of your love for Andrew Tate and Tucker Carlson, or for the other side, and all your hate for the opposing view, and just look at the facts, you have a human trafficker here who lies whenever he opens his mouth, and who will probably be convicted. And this is not just something I am saying. I want to bring up one more time here, and I think it's a very good note to actually end it with this. Very quickly again, criminal lawyer Bruce River giving his take on Andrew Tate, and if there is any chance for Andrew Tate to get out of this situation. And now if I just find it again. Hold on. Is his name True Geordie? Geordie? He published that. Yes, right here. Okay, so the final thing that I want to show before leaving this, I'm tired. I'm very, very tired. Is just this little take by a criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers is a criminal lawyer. He has done this for many, many years. He knows his stuff. And when he is asked about the chance of Andrew Tate being declared innocent, he says this.
Percentage chance do you give Andrew Tate for being found innocent?
0.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
That's it. This is the criminal lawyer, Bruce Rivers. He's very, very funny guy. Does very good stuff. Provides a lot of information. If you don't want to believe your own eyes, if you don't want to believe me, just go and look for Bruce Rivers on YouTube. He reviewed a lot of the Andrew Tate stuff, and that guy says there's just no way this guy gets out of this. He is clearly guilty. He self-snitched a lot of times. He will be convicted. That's it. Thanks, everybody. I'll be back some other time. If you are a Tate fan, you are his milk cow, said Marion. Thank you. I agree. I would say something worse, but yes. Yeah. This was good enough. Have a fantastic day, everyone. And as always, listen to this guy. And thanks for being here.
Stay away from Islam. Stay away from Islam.